All right, good morning, everybody. Straight up 9 o'clock, William Cole here in the Forecast Center, and wintry weather across Oklahoma. Well, it does continue as expected this morning. Very first things first here, I do want to talk about road conditions. We're going to talk to our team of trackers, and we are tracking some more freezing rain moving into the Oklahoma City metro, and there is some lightning and some thunder that's coming in with this freezing rain today as well. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But this is the important information. This has essentially been the big story as we've gone through the morning. It is the road conditions here in central Oklahoma, southern Oklahoma, and even western Oklahoma as well. And again, all the locations where you're seeing the bright red, those are essentially slick and hazardous road conditions. Travel in the Oklahoma City metro is absolutely discouraged. If you don't have to get out and about, just don't do it. The roads are slick and hazardous, and in fact, you can almost say treacherous road conditions again around the Oklahoma City metro. Here comes wave number 3 now of freezing rain towards the Oklahoma City metro. Kind of the broad view here. First of all, western Oklahoma. In fact, it's happening out there right now. Now, this is moving fairly quickly. This is moving 40, 50 miles per hour. It's about to be in the metro, but this may try and come in and move out fairly quickly. This may only be a quick shot, so we'll see exactly what happens with that. But again, you can see the motion there, the movement with this activity, again, fairly quickly there to the northeast. And yes, those are lightning bolts. This is electrically active. There's going to be thunder and lightning with this area of freezing rain as it is tracking up towards the Oklahoma City metro. And again, you can see the motion there. Again, fairly quickly, 40 to near 50 miles per hour. There was actually a severe thunderstorm warning on this activity for hail down across portions of North Texas. So again, electrically active. There could still be a little bit of small hail even mixed in with this. And again, like I said, the main story with this, though, it is going to be some torrential freezing rain that is moving back into the metro. Now, with that being said, let's go into the Oklahoma City metro. And this is where we have our team of trackers this morning. And in fact, we've got Aaron Spencer, again, part of our team of trackers. And now he's basically moving on into the Oklahoma City metro. Of course, he's really monitoring those road conditions out there. And Aaron, so you're on the live line with us this morning. Go and tell us about the roads, how they are right now. And then, of course, you're going to be sticking with us as this next round of freezing rain with thunder and lightning is going to be moving into the metro here over the next 30 to 45 minutes.
Yes, William. Well, we are heading southbound on I-35, just now about to pass northeast 122nd Street, right by Frontier City. Road conditions are a lot better than they were yesterday. ODOT has been working throughout the night and on into the morning. And right now, we're just now getting into the north side of the Oklahoma City metro. We're still tracking that that third round of ice that's going to be coming through here pretty shortly. We've been watching it all morning, and it's been advancing into central Oklahoma with a pretty good speed. So we'll definitely be giving you guys live updates as we get closer to downtown Oklahoma City. William, back to you.
Really appreciate that update there, Aaron. And we are looking at the roads here. Now, I can tell you a lot of the secondary roads, they're absolutely slick and hazardous. Aaron's moving fairly smoothly. And again, you can see that here. Again, this is a major interstate. ODOT's been out salting and sanding, but there's a lot of, local roads here in Norman, even as I was driving into the studio this morning, around Oklahoma City as well. A lot of the side streets, this simply is not the case. This is almost a little bit deceiving because I can tell you the side streets, they are slick and hazardous. There's an ice, there's a sleet buildup on them here in Norman, around the Oklahoma City metro. And again, where Aaron is right now on a major interstate that's been salted and sanded, this is not necessarily doing the roads justice. These are still slick as well, I can tell you that right now, but really the side streets, there's still some major issues there. And essentially all of the bridges and overpasses in the metro, because even again, if those are salted and sanded, the refreeze is almost instantaneous on those. So again, like I said, travel is absolutely not recommended around the metro. If it's an emergency, obviously you have to do that. Or again, if you just have to go to work, there's some people you have to go to work today. There's no exception. We understand that as well. Obviously, most schools are closed today around the Oklahoma City metro as well, which of course is a good thing. But again, the bottom line as we go through the day today, similar to yesterday, it's all about the travel and the road conditions in the metro. And right now, officially, traveler's advisory in effect, officially slick and hazardous road conditions. And again, it's primarily the side streets. But again, right now you can see there on I-35, traffic moving okay, still moving slow, which is good. Cautious driving going on there. But again, right now, the major interstates primarily wet, minus the bridges and overpasses. But again, just to underscore one more time, it is those side roads that are the primary problem. Let's do this here. I want to go back over to radar because, like I said, this next round, this round 3, again, as expected, that we've really been talking about now for the last several days, it's moving in and it's moving in fast. And again, you can see it here. Again, as this is coming on in, mesoscan radar, the brighter red colors, again, that's freezing rain. There is lightning and there is thunder. This activity actually had a severe thunderstorm warning for hail down in North Texas. And again, this is quickly now lifting to the northeast. Now, the good news with this is, and this could be that this is moving so quickly here to the northeast, that's 30, 40, almost 50 miles per hour, that this may quickly move in and move out. I still think regardless, there's going to be some lingering drizzle. Some of the higher resolution data, I'll show you future radar here in a second, kind of lingers. Some precipitation around the metro, that could be possible. But at least this leading edge, you can see it right here, it's moving quick. And so it's going to move in quick, and hopefully we'll be able to get it to move out quick as well. But again, this will be heavy freezing rain again as this comes on in. And like I said, there may be an opportunity for even some small hail with this as well. Again, there was some hail in North Texas with a severe thunderstorm warning. That was maybe about an hour ago. And again, there is still lightning with this activity as well. So this will be electrically active. As this moves in, you're going to hear some lightning, you're going to hear some thunder. So again, a fairly dynamic situation as we're talking about freezing rain, lightning, thunder, and well, even a severe thunderstorm warning about an hour ago down across portions of North Texas. Let's go back to Aaron's video here. And again, this is what we're going to do, as this is, again, just about to be moving into the metro. We're just going to kind of bounce around with our tracker feeds, our live cams, and again, radar. And we'll just kind of take this as it comes, very similar to yesterday. That's what you have to do with winter weather. You take it as it comes. And of course, it's coming into the metro here over about the next 30 to 45 minutes. But Aaron, you're still on the live line. We'll check your video. It may have frozen there just momentarily. Let us know exactly where you're going. I know you're kind of on the major interstate there, 35, tracking down south. But kind of let us know what the game plan is, where you're going. And again, if you have seen any travel issues at all so far this morning on I-35.
Yes, William. Well, we got off the interstate real quick. We're on the I-35 frontage road right before Wilshire Boulevard. I think we're going to be tracking just a little bit towards the west over on I-40 to look at some of the road conditions over there, as well as going down through Oklahoma City. The road conditions here on the frontage road, they're slick, they're ice covered. So if you guys are out today, especially again on the side roads, definitely just be cautious, because you know it may look like it's just slush, but you know, I've been out driving in Guthrie and also now here in Edmond and north sides of Oklahoma City. And there are some really slick spots, and you don't want to be hitting one of those, you know, trying to get stopped at a stop sign and then blow through one of those stop signs and then cause an accident. So definitely be careful on these side roads, and we'll be giving you an update as soon as we get a little bit closer to Oklahoma City to let you guys know how those roads are down there. William, back to you.
Yeah, appreciate that, Aaron. And yeah, it's a completely different story. And so this is what we were talking about. So when Aaron was on 35, I-35, again, those have been, you know, treated with salt and with sand, so those were primarily wet, and that's what I said, a little bit deceiving. And once you start getting on these side roads, and of course this is important for the folks that again haven't really ventured out of the house yet at all today, which is good. Again, if you don't have to, travel's the scourge. If you don't have to get out and about today, you don't want to do it. Stay someplace warm, stay someplace safe. Again, also think about your car. Again, not to, you know, putting that in jeopardy. If for any reason you're out and about and don't need to be, you're involved in an accident, your deductible, your insurance, you know, those are all things you got to think about on days like today. But where Aaron is now on a side street, you can see it's a completely different deal. And this is very similar down here in the Norman area as well. Again, the side streets down here in Norman. And again, even what we're seeing with him there in Oklahoma City, again, they are ice covered. They are sleet covered. They refroze overnight. And again, travel conditions around the metro, again, just essentially not good, basically being reported as a slick and hazardous. We're going to check his video again here in just a second. I think it just kind of momentarily stalled there. We'll check back in with it momentarily. But again, this, of course, is the other story that we're tracking here. It is, again, that next round of freezing rain, and it's moving fairly quickly. This is moving to the northeast here about 30, 40 miles per hour. There is lightning with this activity. You will hear light, you will hear thunder, you will see some lightning as this comes through. This is electrically active activity. There was a severe thunderstorm warning, in fact, even for across portions of North Texas with this activity about an hour ago. And it's not impossible to get a little bit of small hail even with this activity as it comes on through. This will be heavy, almost potential, torrential freezing rain as this moves on in. At least this leading edge, this is a fast mover here. Again, 30, 40 miles per hour. So hopefully we'll be able to get that in and out fairly quickly here in the metro. But I think even as we go through the day today, there will be an opportunity for some lingering precipitation, and it will be a little bit lighter. But I think this first wave here, this is going to be fairly heavy as it comes on through. But at least the good news with it, again, is that it's moving so fast. Again, it's moving 30, 40, almost 50 miles per hour to the northeast. I mean, look how quickly that's advancing here just since we've been on the air here over the last few minutes. So again, you can see team of trackers, they're out. We're going to continue to check in with them, and especially Aaron Spencer, who's in central Oklahoma, very close to downtown Oklahoma City. I want to do this as well. Here. What we're going to do is we are also going to talk about the rest of your forecast. We're going to check back in with Aaron here in just a second, but I also want to talk about what to expect really throughout the rest of the day today as well. So again, more with the Aaron Spencer coming up here in just a second. That's our downtown Oklahoma City live cam. And again, you can actually see the fog and the freezing drizzle now starting to build into downtown. The freezing mist there. Again, you can't even see the Devon Tower. The Devon Tower would normally be right back over in here. You can kind of see the base of it right there. There's where the Devon Tower would be. So this is all freezing fog, freezing drizzle building in there. Now, at least the good news is the temperatures are going to try and recover as we go through the day today. We're going to try and get above 32. So there's going to be an opportunity as we go through the afternoon that we might be able to get to 32 and above. So any precipitation during the afternoon would not be frozen or would not be freezing on contact here in the metro. We'll see if that happens. But right now, 29 here in central Oklahoma. Lots of mid to upper 20s around Oklahoma, 28, 29, fairly common. You see it right there. And then as you get over into eastern Oklahoma, we are above freezing. Essentially, this little pink line you're seeing right there, that is the freezing line. So eastern Oklahoma above freezing, at least currently here at mid-morning. And again, 28, 29 here in central Oklahoma, fairly common numbers. Tulsa currently right at freezing, so 32 in Tulsa. We might be able to bump that up a couple more today. So hopefully we'll just be able to get some liquid rain without that freezing rain potential up there in Tulsa. We'll track that carefully. But lots of 31s, 32s up there in Tulsa. Winds are coming in here still from the north. The wind map looks weird. Most of these instruments that read the wind, the anemometers, they're actually frozen up from the freezing rain that we've seen over the last 2 days or so. Wind chills across Oklahoma here, generally in the teens and 20s. It is dangerously cold. Again, if for any reason you are outdoors today, again, travel absolutely discouraged around the metro, around most of Oklahoma. If you do have to venture out, again, make sure you have that heavy winter coat. Make sure you have blankets in the car. Make sure you're prepping yourself, because heaven forbid, if you were in any kind of accident, you became stranded, hypothermia can set in fairly quickly with those temperatures and those wind chills. So we want to be real clear about that. Future radar here. Let's go and roll this into motion. This is what the computer thinks the radar is going to look like starting around noon today. Let's roll this into motion here. And again, you can see by noon, the computer at least thinking that some of this activity here in central Oklahoma is going to try and start transitioning back over to at least liquid precipitation without that freezing potential. And so again, we'll take another look at future radar. We'll roll that into motion coming up here in just a few minutes. Bridges, roadways, those are the main issues as we go through the day today. Of course, we're already seeing it out there right now. And of course, schools, well, essentially they're closed in the metro. So again, we'll go and put that with an extreme impact today as well. Through noon today, again, freezing rain building back in western central Oklahoma. Temperatures essentially flatlining. You see it right there. And then even right here in the Oklahoma City metro, by noon to 3 p.m., I think it's a 100% chance of freezing rain. We may try and transition back over to a non-freezing, just liquid rain as we get a little bit deeper into the afternoon. It's going to be razor close, 33, 34, possibly here in the metro. We may not be able to make it up above 31, so we'll track that carefully. Again, as we go through the day today, opportunity for frozen precipitation changing to liquid rain across portions of eastern Oklahoma, Tulsa. Temperature profile up there just a couple degrees less cold that we're already seeing up there. Again, Tulsa currently at 32. Overnight tonight, again, any precipitation pushes over into eastern Oklahoma, 20s and 30s generally for overnight lows tonight. And then as we get into tomorrow, Friday, here comes our next opportunity here for some precipitation in Oklahoma. And the way it looks right now, this will be a little bit later in the afternoon. We should see some moisture again, move up from Texas across Oklahoma. Temperatures tomorrow will be less cold. They will be above freezing. So tomorrow, we should be talking about a liquid rain, a likely opportunity southeast, likely to moderate here in central Oklahoma, slight chance there across portions of northern Oklahoma. So that's kind of the forecast piece of all this going forward. But what I want to do now, I really want to get back to what we have going on out there right now. And again, it is that next round of freezing rain that is moving here towards central Oklahoma. Going to check back in with our storm trackers momentarily here as well. Let me go and click a button over here, and we'll go and check their stream. And so again, the area of red you're seeing right there, that is our next round of precipitation, a round of freezing rain moving here into the metro. This, at least initial wave, this is a fast mover. This is moving 30, 40 miles per hour. But also look what we're noticing here. Look at all those lightning strikes. This will be electrically active. There's going to be lightning and thunder as this activity moves back into the metro. So lightning and thunder as we'll have freezing rain in progress. This has actually been severe warning. There was a severe thunderstorm warning down in North Texas because of hail. So small hail could even be possible here in the metro, non-severe, but small hail, maybe some shot size, maybe some pea-size hail, again, as this moves on into the metro here as well. Let's go and kind of take one more broad view that we're going to talk to Aaron Spencer, our storm tracker that is in the Oklahoma City metro. I just kind of want to give the broad view. That's kind of the zoomed in view there. And again, as we take a look at the broad view across Oklahoma, again, you can see this kind of lifting and expanding out of North Texas, very similar to what we saw yesterday. All the areas of purple you're seeing there, again, that's all freezing rain. And at times, some of this is moderately heavy, especially this first round. That's going to be moving here into central Oklahoma, moderately heavy, again, with lightning and thunder. Again, as this moves on in, a little bit of small hail possible. There was that warning down there. See that? That was about an hour ago. The severe thunderstorm warning. That was for hail inside the freezing rain just about an hour ago. And again, you can see there it is right there, that yellow polygon. And again, you can see this activity continuing to lift fairly quickly. Now, this could be the good news today, is that's moving a little bit faster than yesterday. So this may try and come through, fairly quickly. And then we may try and ease this down as we get into the afternoon. But we'll track that carefully. Again, future radar showing at least that opportunity for some lingering precipitation even as we go through the afternoon. So what we need to do now, we need to turn to our team of storm trackers here. First of all, let's go and check in with Aaron Spencer. And Aaron, looks like you're still in the Oklahoma City metro. You're driving around. Let's go and take a look at your video. Give us a live update. Tell us exactly where you are, and tell us what you're seeing out there here at mid-morning. Aaron, if you're on the live line with us, just let us know. And we may have lost Aaron just temporarily. And so as soon as we get him back on the line, we'll talk to him. But there's his video. And again, I think we literally just got him back on the live line. So Aaron, you're on the line with us. Go ahead and tell us where you are now. I know you're driving around the metro. Tell us where you are and give us a live update.
Yes, William. We are on I-44 West, just passing North Pennsylvania Avenue. We're heading a little bit towards the El Reno area. I know we're not going to quite make it out that far before this line of storms hits us. We're going to be trying to find a place to set up and kind of give you guys an overlook of the interstate here shortly. And the road conditions here at I-44 West are just about like I-35 South. They're clear, except for some of the overpasses, like the one going over towards the Northwest Expressway. That one was a couple cars were trying to get off. We noticed that it had a little bit of ice on it. So, just because the interstates may be clear doesn't mean that there cannot be some slick spots on the overpasses or even bridges. So definitely pay attention for that today, as well as this, again, third line of storms coming into the Oklahoma City metro. William, back to you.
All right, Aaron, appreciate that update. We're going to kind of stick with your video there for just a second. Getting reports here of some nickel-sized hail. Again, these storms, we keep saying these storms because truly these are actually thunderstorms that are now going to be moving back in. There is lightning, there is thunder, and in fact, some of this activity was even severe warned. We're talking about freezing rain, but some of this activity was severe warned down in North Texas because of hail. So there's going to be an opportunity as these come through for maybe some shot size to pea size hail. And in southern Oklahoma, I'll show you this in a second, we're still getting reports of some nickel size hail down there. So again, these are essentially thunderstorms producing freezing rain. And again, you will hear some thunder. You may see some lightning again as these move on into the Oklahoma City metro. So a very dynamic, very interesting situation. We've seen this before. I mean, this is nothing new for sure, but it's always interesting when you start getting freezing rain and, well, you have that thunder, lightning, and even hail effect with them as well. And again, even that severe storm that we had again across portions of North Texas just about an hour ago. So let's do this. Let's go back to radar and let me go and kind of work radar a little bit. I want to talk about southern Oklahoma here as well. That's where we're getting the reports of the nickel-sized hail. And so as we go back to radar here and kind of give you the overview here, first of all, again in the metro, the areas of red you're seeing right there, that is our next round of freezing rain. It's filling in. It continues to essentially track up here into portions of central Oklahoma, moving fairly quickly, right around 40 miles per hour. And again, you can see those little white markers there. Those are the lightning bolts that, again, the radar is picking up. So again, these are electrically active storms. And I want to kind of zoom in down here around the Lawton area. And again, especially down here, we're seeing the little white bolts, the lightning showing up there. Again, this is where we're also getting the reports of the nickel-sized hail down here as well. This is part of the activity that was severe warned down in North Texas. Again, no severe weather in Oklahoma right now, but even though this is freezing rain, and it was freezing rain down in North Texas, this batch right in here, this is what was severe warned, again, for some quarter-size hail just about an hour ago. But again, if you look carefully here, of course, Lawton being right up in here, that would be Comanche County there. Some of these darker red areas, that's where there's at least that opportunity, again, for some of that nickel-sized hail. And again, you're seeing the little markers there. Those are lightning bolts. So there's a lot of lightning down here. Look down here, especially down around Granfield. Those are all lightning bolts. Lots of lightning there. Those are real. I mean, there's a lot of thunder down in southern Oklahoma with this freezing rain coming in. Even in central Oklahoma, again, we will have a little bit of lightning, a little bit of thunder with our activity coming on in as well. Could be a little bit of dime, a little bit of shot-size hail even here in the metro as these come on through as well. And again, as we kind of move the radar a little bit further up to the north here, just kind of giving you a zoomed-in view. We'll zoom it out again here in a minute as well. But at least right here in the metro, I-40 being right here, there's a hit and exit. And look at all the lightning here too. So these are quite electrically active. So of course that's going to come on in El Reno, Yukon, downtown Oklahoma City. There's Aaron's live GPS. Again, he's talking about getting down towards I-40. There's I-40. We'll look at his video again coming up here in just a minute. But again, just looking at this carefully, you can see those lightning bolts showing up there. So it'll be interesting. Again, a lot of times, you know, when we're talking about freezing rain, people don't think about the lightning and the thunder aspect that can happen, but this will be possible. And some of those darker red areas, especially right there coming up towards Lukiba, you know, some shot-size hail, some pea-size hail, I think would definitely be possible with that right there as well. But again, outside of that, this is going to be some fairly heavy freezing rain that moves in. We don't want to lose that aspect with this either. This will be some heavy freezing rain that moves in. Now, it is moving fairly quickly, and that's the good news. I mean, compared to yesterday where things were just, you know, just slowly moving on through, this is booking it. Now, this is moving northeast here, 30 to 40 to maybe near 50 miles per hour as we kind of zoom that on out. Of course, the Oklahoma City Metro being right back over in here. And again, you can see how quickly this activity, again, continues to track there towards the northeast. So let's do this. Let's go and talk to our storm tracker, Aaron Spencer. And again, he's here in the metro. And it looks like, Aaron, you're maybe starting to get into some of that fog, maybe some of that drizzle. You may even be getting into some of that freezing rain now. You're still on the live line. Tell us again exactly where you are and give us a live update.
Yes, William, we just got on to I-40 westbound. We've got a little bit of just that buildup of all the sand and salt that they've been putting down on the roads, and it's kind of hard to get it off the windshield. That's kind of why you guys are seeing that kind of haziness on the camera. But we're getting just a little bit of light mist, and we've been getting that for the past 15 to 20 minutes. Again, road conditions are still clear compared to yesterday. ODOT, again, has been doing a fantastic job of trying to get these roads cleaned off. Again, you know, this storm is starting to get pretty close to the El Reno area, as well as now getting into central Oklahoma towards the Oklahoma City Metro. So we're definitely keeping a close eye on that so we can give you guys the newest updates as they come along. And if we also have any road accidents while we're out here giving you guys the information, we'll let you guys know. William, back to you.
Aaron, appreciate that update. Now, it looks like the overall volume of traffic is low today, which is good. Obviously, again, if you don't need to be out and about today, travel is still 100% discouraged here in the metro, especially with this next round of heavy freezing rain about to move in. We'll show you radar again here in just a second. But Aaron, I mean, you know, as you're kind of out and about there, and we're getting a lot of that spray, a lot of that road spray up. That's what he's talking about on his window there. So obviously, you know, the roads have been treated, you know, with salt and sand. And as you're out driving around, especially in wintry conditions, you get that spray up on your window. That's what he's dealing with right there. That's why it's a little bit hard to see right now. We'll just have to kind of deal with that. But again, is the overall volume of traffic down? Does it look like most folks are really kind of heeding the warning, so to speak, and they're not really out on the roads right now? Is that essentially what we're seeing on the major interstates around the metro?
You know what, William? Actually, it looks like there's more people out today than there was yesterday. I don't think, you know, many people really paid attention to the day after. I think they thought, oh, well, yesterday was more of the last day that, you know, they were going to have to worry about any winter weather, but it's definitely not over. So I mean, they are still moving at a slow pace, which is good. We're still staying under the speed limit for the interstates, so that's definitely good. But yeah, definitely a lot more traffic today than there was yesterday, William.
Okay, that's good to know. So, and obviously, some folks just have to go to work. It's easy to say, travel's discouraged, stay home. But when the boss says, well, you got to go to work, you got to be there. What can you do? We can say stay home all we want, but obviously if you have to go to work, you have to go to work, and we understand that. When we say, travel's discouraged, we're mainly talking to the folks who maybe want to run down to Walmart to go pick something up, go to the grocery store, go to a friend's house, this and that. Again, if you don't have to get out and about in those situations, don't do it. If you have to go to work, the boss says you have to go to work, there's really no alternative, right? We all kind of understand and know that. But of course, if you're just kind of out and getting out and about and you don't have to be, of course, the one thing I always want to put in perspective, think about your car, think about your insurance, think about your deductible, heaven forbid if you were in some kind of traffic snarl, so to speak. So, those are things to think about. If you have to get out and about, there's an emergency, you have to go to work, you just have to do it. And we understand that as well. So it sounds like there is still at least some volume of traffic on the interstates. We're looking at Aaron's live shot there. And again, it looks like he's about to be down to I-40. We're going to go back to a radar here momentarily as well. We're going to take a look at radar here as well. Now, Aaron, tell me real quickly, because it looks like a lot of this activity is just about to be into the western sides of the metro. Where you are right now, are you getting any precipitation at all, or is it essentially all just kind of road spray coming up?
Yeah, we're getting just a little bit. There when we were giving you guys reports a few seconds ago, we were getting a little bit of sleet and freezing rain. So we're kind of getting closer to that line of the precipitation that you were just talking about. So I think as we get a little bit further on I-40, we're going to start seeing more of that freezing rain and sleet that has been reported on throughout the morning. So as soon as we get a little bit closer to that, and if we start getting more, we'll definitely let you know, William.
Okay, Aaron, again, appreciate that update. Let's go back to radar here. We're going to get back to Aaron's live shot here momentarily. But if you're just now joining us here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, again, we do have our next round now, freezing rain. And essentially, this is going to be moving into the Oklahoma City metro. It's fairly dynamic today. And what I mean by that is not only are we about to have some freezing rain here in the metro, we're about to have some thunder and lightning and maybe a little bit of hail as well. So these storms, they are electrically active, saying storms. These are thunderstorms, freezing rain thunderstorms. But again, you can see the cloud of ground lightning here. And in fact, down around the Lawton area and to the south, the storms are very electrically active. Lots of lightning down there. But again, even here in the metro, what's moving in, there will be a little bit of thunder and a little bit of lightning as well. Some of this activity was actually severe warned down in Texas for hail, for quarter-size hail. Again, not impossible even here in the metro to get some P and maybe some shot-size hail coming on into the metro. Very small hail, but again, that's going to be possible even with this activity. Again, moving into the metro, you see how fast it's moving here, 30, 40 miles per hour, moving much faster than yesterday. That's going to be the good news there. But as we look at the color intensities here, the one thing you can really notice, and especially compared to yesterday, is that we're getting much more in the way of darker reds showing up. That can be indicative, again, a little bit of that small hail, P shot size hail, but also this is going to be much heavier freezing rain that moves in. Now, the kind of caveat to that is it is going to be heavier today than what we saw yesterday, and yesterday was moderately heavy as far as the sleet goes, but it's moving fast. And that could be the good news with this, is that it's moving fast. So it's going to come in, and hopefully it's going to try and move out fairly quickly. Now, I think most of this is going to linger at least through the noontime hour, maybe a little bit after that, but at least the heaviest part, the leading edge here, the heaviest part, I think that should be in and out. The way it looks right now, we're going to try, hopefully, and get it in and out fairly quickly. But again, there will be lightning and there will be thunder, believe it or not, again, with this activity as it moves on through. Let's go a little bit further to the south here. And then again, like I said, we're going to check back in with Aaron, part of our storm tracking team that's out this morning as well here in the metro. And he's just about to be on the leading edge of this activity as it moves on in. But this activity down here around Lawton, and again, I mean, look at all this lightning. So it's freezing rain, but look at all this lightning. Now, the computer here is starting to paint in a little bit more in the way of green, where you think that there's not really that freezing rain potential. But as we take a look at our live numbers, it's only right around 30 down here. So this is all freezing rain for sure. It doesn't really matter what the computer is painting the colors as. Live air temperature numbers updating every 5 minutes. This is all still freezing rain. So again, this is thunder, freezing rain, but this activity right here down across North Texas, just to the southwest of Wichita Falls, maybe an hour and a half ago now, there was a severe thunderstorm warning and for quarter-size hail. So down here around the Lawton area, we're getting reports of some nickel-size hail. So nickel's possible down here inside the freezing rain and the freezing rain thunderstorms, again, with the lightning and the thunder ongoing down there. So again, a fairly dynamic situation. And again, even here in the metro, we are going to have a little bit of lightning and a little bit of thunder. Down there to the south, those storms are quite electrically active. Again, in other words, down there, there's quite a bit of lightning showing up and there's quite a bit of thunder down there in that part of the state. Now, again, even right here in the metro, again, as we go and take a look here, even at the metro, as we kind of zoom this in just a little bit, now as this is coming on in there to the western sides of the metro, again, you can also see some of these lightning bolts showing up on radar. And again, because some folks are going to be caught off guard as they, hear this coming in thinking wintry precipitation, they start hearing some lightning and thunder, it's going to kind of catch them off guard. But you see those lightning bolts, they're updating every 2 minutes, sampling that every 2 minutes, especially down there around the Binger area. Again, you can see some of that lightning, and that's where the thunder is going to be as well, again, as this pushes on in to the metro. So here's what we're doing. We're just kind of very similar to yesterday, what you have to do with the winter weather. We're just kind of hanging out with you here on the channel. We're live. We have our team of storm trackers out. We're looking at radar, keeping you up to date with that. But then we're also checking in with our storm trackers as well. And of course, this is kind of the most important part. It's really what the storm trackers are out there reporting. Aaron's now on the leading edge of this activity. It's about to be moving into exactly where he is. So he'll be able to report exactly, how intense the rain is radar correct, that it looks like it's going to be fairly heavy freezing rain. He'll be able to update us on that. And then of course, the other real important piece of this, it's the road conditions as well. So Aaron, you're right here in the Oklahoma City metro. You're in Oklahoma City. Tell us where you are now. I know you've kind of been out and about this morning. Tell us where you are now and give us an update on the road conditions and any precip as well.
Yes, William, we are at Southwest 8th Street and South Morgan Road. We're kind of just taking a look at the road conditions. We're just off of I-40. We're going to try to get the windshield cleaned up as well so you guys can get a better look at what's going on. But we're still getting just this light mist right now. As we were traveling on the interstate here just a couple of minutes ago, it wasn't quite as bad, but we still got just a little bit of heavy sleet. So we're definitely paying attention to that. I think we're going to go just a little bit further west. And then we're going to set up shop right before this line comes through so we can give you guys a live look at the interstates and roads.
Aaron, really appreciate that to update there. This is where Aaron is. So this is his live GPS. So you just kind of saw his video there. And so this is where he is now in real time. You see the red dot right there? So there's Aaron's live GPS. So he's out there basically on county line, essentially out there on I-40. So he's maybe going to go a little bit further to the west and then kind of stop as this next wave of freezing rain moves on in. And by the way, Aaron, with this rain moving in, you may not need to stop and clean your windshield. His windshield's dirty because of the, the spray coming up, obviously, with the salt and sand that's been down on the roads. As he's out there on the interstates, it kind of sprays up, it dirties his window. It's hard to see. But with this rain coming on in, this should actually kind of help to clear that off, I would think. But again, for the Oklahoma City Metro, this is the important information here. Again, round number 3. You see it there now, just west of the metro. And again, I just want to underscore this one more time. I know we've got a lot of folks joining us here now on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, and very similar to yesterday and very similar to the day before, as we've been covering this winter weather, sometimes it might sound like I'm kind of repeating myself a lot. The only reason for that is just like everywhere else, people tune in and they tune out. So even if you've been watching me for like the last hour, someone else may have just tuned in and they're needing the important information. So what we do, we just try and pass that important information over and over again. In situations like this, that's what you have to do. So if I'm repeating myself a little bit, forgive me for that, but it's, again, I'm talking to maybe someone else who needs that information. So again, just kind of giving you the setup. This is what's going on now. Again, as we're going on and just after 9:30, again, on this Thursday morning, wave number 3 of wintry precipitation now moving into Oklahoma. And again, you can see here with mesoscan radar, especially with the really brighter reds and the darker reds, especially compared to the last several days, this is going to be fairly heavy freezing rain. It's now across portions of west central Oklahoma, southwestern Oklahoma, and again, essentially this is now going to be moving up into the Oklahoma City metro. Hey, Aaron, you may hit your mute button as well if you can. I think we're hearing Aaron there, at least I'm hearing it in my ear. And so again, this is going to be moving to the Oklahoma City metro. And now the one thing about today that's fairly dynamic, even though this is freezing rain, This is wintry precipitation that's going to be moving in. There is lightning, there's thunder, and well, there's going to be an opportunity for some small hail with this activity as well. In fact, down across portions of northwest Texas, down around the Wichita Falls area, there was actually a severe thunderstorm warning down there about an hour and a half ago for some quarter-size hail with freezing rain in progress. So these are thunderstorms that are producing freezing rain. And so again, as these move on through your area, you may hear some thunder, you may see some lightning, even though it is actually freezing rain. And again, there could be a little bit of hail as well. I think right now the hail is primarily confined down across portions of southwestern Oklahoma. I think we're getting some reports down there now of some nickel-size hail. So let's go and zoom in here. And then what we're going to do, we're going to check back in with our team of storm trackers. And again, Aaron Spencer, who is here in central Oklahoma on the western side of the activity, we're going to be checking in with him first. We'll get right back to him here in a second. But I want to go down here into the Lawton area. Of course, we always have a lot of folks joining us down around the Lawton area. And of course, we appreciate you joining in with our coverage today as we're talking about more wintry weather here in Oklahoma. But down here around the Lawton area, there's been a lot of lightning, and that may catch some folks off guard. In fact, this activity down here around the Lawton area, this is the same activity that was actually severe. Again, even though it was producing freezing rain, severe down across northwest Texas, it's now up around the Lawton area. And again, if you look carefully here, all those little bolts you're seeing, and especially right there north of Granfield, see all those right there? Those are all cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. And again, cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. That's sampled every 2 minutes. So even on, an active weather day here in Oklahoma, when we're talking about real deal thunderstorms, that's a lot of lightning. So again, there's a lot of lightning, there's a lot of thunder ongoing down here around the Lawton area. I can tell you that right now. And again, this is also where we're getting the reports of the nickel-size hail down here around Lawton as well. And as we take a look at this carefully, again, even though the computer is starting to paint in a little bit of green, like this is showing maybe it's not frozen precipitation or not freezing rain, I can tell you that's not necessarily correct, because as we're taking a look at our live air temperature numbers here, we're still only at 30 at Walters and also up there in the Wichita Mountains as well. So essentially this is all still freezing rain. So freezing rain, thunder and lightning, and a little bit of nickel-sized hail mixing in down there around the Lawton area. So let's go to the north. Let's get up here around the Oklahoma City metro and show you what's going on here. And again, like I said, here's this next round, even here for the metro, moving on in. And this activity, it's moving fairly quickly. It's moving to the northeast at 30 to 40 miles per hour. So compared to yesterday, when everything was just kind of moving at a snail's pace and it was just kind of inching its way on through, it's a little bit different. This is moving fairly quickly today. Again, 30, 40 miles per hour. So at least this initial wave that may be moderately heavy, it should move on in and move on out fairly quickly. Again, the red dots you're seeing on radar, those are our storm trackers. That's their live GPS location. And again, we're going to be talking with them coming up here in just a minute, again, looking at their live video as well. Far western sides now, the Oklahoma City metro out here around El Reno, Okarche. Again, you can already see some of this freezing rain moving in. Moderately heavy freezing rain out there around Hinton, maybe even a little bit of small hail, pea-sized, shot-sized hail out there, especially where you're seeing those darker reds. And then again, looking for the lightning, those little light lightning bolts you're seeing there. Again, this activity, even on the western sides of the metro there, again, that is electrically active. A little bit of thunder, a little bit of lightning, again, coming in with this activity as well. So now that's kind of the radar update piece of this, but what we really need to do now, this is the important part here, is we got to check back in with our team of storm trackers. You saw Aaron's live GPS location there. He's on the western sides of the metro out there around I-40. This is his live video now. And Aaron, you're on the live line with us as well. Looks like that activity is about to be right up on you, at least the leading edge there of our next round of freezing rain. Give us an update. Tell us where you are right now.
Yes, William. We're just now getting back on to I-40, heading just a little bit further west. We're starting to get that light rain now as it's coming on into the western sides of the metro. Road conditions are still good as of right now, but we know how yesterday it turned from good to bad within the 30-minute to about an hour, zone. So we'll definitely be keeping a track on the roads as well as any accidents that do occur in the metro or out here to the west. And we'll definitely be giving you guys updates as the storm comes on through the Oklahoma City metro. William, back to you.
Aaron, appreciate that update. And I mean, he's right on the money when he says storm. Again, this is a freezing rain thunderstorm. There is thunder, there's lightning, very dynamic, very interesting here as this is coming on in. And the one other thing we just want to point out, a little bit deceiving here, because Aaron's primarily been on the major interstates today, talking about I-35, I-40. And again, you can see traffic moving fairly good on them. There's still slick spots. They're still considered slick and hazardous, but I just want to underscore the fact, again, if you're sitting at home watching us on Roku, Apple, Amazon Fire TV, or maybe you're watching us on the mobile app, whatever it is, the side streets are not in this condition at all. And I can tell you that even down here in Norman, driving to the office this morning, the side streets, no doubt about it, they are still very slick and very hazardous. Again, that's why any kind of travel in the metros is discouraged. Again, if you don't have to go to work, and we understand some folks just have to go to work. The boss says you have to go, you have to go. We get that. Or if there's an emergency or something. But again, if you're just trying to run an errand, go to Walmart, doing something like that, again, as we go through the morning and really through most of the afternoon, at least here in the Oklahoma City Metro, again, any kind of travel is 100% discouraged, especially with this next round of at least moderately heavy freezing rain that's about to be moving back on in. So again, there's Aaron's live shot. We're looking at his video. The rain and the freezing rain is just about to be up on him. But I want to go back to radar here as well. And we'll go ahead and put this back into motion. And again, as we kind of zoom this out, again, we're just basically bouncing between our team of storm trackers here and also radar. And this is essentially what you have to do on these wintry weather type situations. Again, you essentially just kind of take it as it comes, and that's what we've done here over the last 2 days, day number 3 now of tracking winter weather here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. And again, as we're looking at this, of course, the reds, that's that opportunity for freezing rain, and that extends now across all of western Oklahoma. Again, this is wave number 3 coming on in here. It's a little more scattered than what we saw yesterday, but I can tell you some of these intensities that we're seeing today, especially with these really darker reds showing up, there's an opportunity in some locations for some locally heavy freezing rain. And part of that, I think, is going to move right on into the Oklahoma City Metro. You kind of see that darker red right back up in there. In general, that's tracking towards the Metro. So this will be also a quicker shot, I think, than yesterday as well. This activity is moving fairly quickly, 30, 40 miles per hour. You see it right there, tracking to the east and to the northeast. So right now, at least fingers crossed, we should be able to get this activity in and out fairly quickly. As far as the bulk of the active precipitation goes, I still think there's going to be an opportunity for some freezing drizzle and some freezing mist as we go through the day as well. Of course, the other thing we're tracking carefully, and we'll talk more about your forecast here in a second. I really don't want to veer off into the forecast piece of that right now. I just want to kind of stick with the active weather. I think that's what most of you are wanting to see as well. But I can tell you the other piece of this we're tracking as well, it is the temperatures, because today there's going to be an opportunity for a large portion of Oklahoma to get back above freezing, just barely, maybe 32, 33, 34 as we go through the day. But the question mark is, when is that going to happen, and will that even happen? So if it does happen, any precipitation that we do see would slowly turn back over to only rain without any opportunity of a freezing threat. Now, exactly when that happens, most of the data is showing that's going to be about 1, 2 o'clock this afternoon. With this batch of precipitation coming through, I think that's probably not going to happen. I think it may happen very late in the afternoon if it happens at all. So I think 33, 34. If we're living just right here in the metro, we may only hover at 32 or below throughout the day, which will lead us to continue to have freezing mist and drizzle even after the bulk of this precipitation moves on by. So that's why these winter forecasts, they're very dicey. When we make these forecasts, they're very dicey, with severe weather and other weather events across Oklahoma. A lot of times we nail those down pretty good. But if you've lived in Oklahoma very long, winter weather, it's dicey with the forecast. They tend to change quite a bit. And again, it all depends on those temperatures. When you're talking about 30, 31, 32, 33, 4 degrees difference, it makes all the difference in the world as far as precipitation type. And that's what we've been dealing with over the last several days. So we're going to track that carefully as well. Let's do this, because I think that precipitation is now getting almost right up onto Aaron. Aaron Spencer here, one of our storm trackers. He's out on I-40. Now, of course, he's been essentially driving around the metro. He's been coming down from the north side, the far western sides of the metro, and now out on I-40 and getting a little bit closer now to the El Reno area as that initial kind of leading edge of our next round of freezing rain is moving in. But overall, the one thing that has actually kind of been good is that a lot of the major interstates, they've been okay from what we're seeing, but as you're looking at this, it's a little bit deceiving, only in the sense that there are still slick spots there, number one, but number two, it's the side streets around the metro that are so troublesome, and there are still slick and hazardous. I can absolutely tell you that for sure. So again, even as we're looking at his video here, and it looks like cars are moving fairly quickly, I just don't want you to be deceived by that, thinking you can maybe jump out and do what you need to do, and you get on one of those side streets that are just solid ice, and you have an immediate spin out. You know what I mean? So let's just, keep that in mind as well. For the most part, what we've seen so far today from Aaron, the major interstates, I-35, I-44, I-40, looking okay. There are still slick spots, and in fact, officially they're still considered slick and hazardous. Traveler's advisory continues. But again, as you're looking at his video, I just want to kind of put that into context there as well. So Aaron, we are looking at your video. You are on the live line here with us. It looks like that next round of freezing rain is about to be exactly where you are out there on I-40. The leading edge of it is about to be there again with a little bit of thunder, a little bit of lightning as well, maybe a little bit of small hail, maybe some pea and shot size hail coming in with this too. Tell us where you are exactly now and go ahead and give us a live update.
Yes, William. So we are just to the east of El Reno. We can see out off in the distance kind of that line of winter weather, really kind of just a mixture of pretty much everything out there. We're definitely getting a lot closer to it. We're just on the leading edge of it that's just coming over El Reno right now. So, again, the road conditions, like you were just saying, they're still pretty good. Everybody's moving at about interstate speed right now. So, I advise that as you guys start getting closer to the El Reno area, if you guys are traveling that way or are going to be traveling that way soon, definitely take precaution on the interstates and side roads, as well as if you're going kind of that south to southeast out of, or southwest out of Oklahoma City as that winter storm comes through, because roads are more than likely going to get slick as soon as this freezing rain and that sleet comes through the metro. William, back to you.
Yeah, I really appreciate that update, Aaron. We're going to continue to kind of stick with you here off and on as well. I know right now you're kind of getting into position there on I-40 as this next round comes in. I tell you what, the lightning continues to pick up on this. And, this is extremely dynamic. Again, when we're talking about freezing rain, and like I said, I know a lot of folks are going to be caught off guard by this, but especially down here on the southern sides of the metro, down here in Norman, our studios here located at Main Street and Collier, downtown Norman. But even down here towards the Norman area, Purcell, Wayne, McLean County here, where some of this activity is going to be tracking up through, look at how electrically active this activity is. Again, just sampled every 2 minutes here. These are cloud to ground strikes, not talking about cloud to ground strikes being picked up there. So you are definitely going to hear some thunder. This stuff is rocking and rolling. I can tell you that as it comes on in now to the southern sides of the metro here over the next hour. Still even up around El Reno, you can still see a couple of cloud to ground strikes there as well. So still electrically active there as well. So we're talking about bona fide thunderstorms here that are coming on through. And of course, I've mentioned this a couple times, down across portions of North Texas, this activity that's actually down here around the Elgin area, just north of Lawton, down here in the Wichita Mountains, this activity right here, about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours ago now, across northwest Texas, was actually severe warned for quarter-size hail. Freezing rain in progress, vivid lightning, quarter-size hail, severe thunderstorm warning. Now, obviously no longer severe now, still an opportunity for maybe some nickel-size hail, especially in those darker reds. But again, there's that vivid lightning that we're seeing with this, again, with freezing rain in progress. So again, not unprecedented in Oklahoma. We had some thunderstorm freezing rain, lightning freezing rain a couple years ago. It definitely happens. It's nothing new. But again, a lot of times it just kind of catches people off guard, again, when that comes on through. Let's take another look up here on the northern sides of the metro, kind of moving the radar to the north. Again, talking with Aaron Spencer again here in just a minute as well. But again, Oklahoma County being right back in here. Canadian County here. Of course, Aaron Spencer, there's his live GPS dot. That's exactly where he is. Just the initial wave of freezing rain moving into where he is as well, about to talk to him. And again, you can see kind of where we have these kind of pinks going to red, going to, well, the darker red back in there. There's where this opportunity for at least the heavier, and I think some of this may be outright heavy freezing rain that comes on into the metro. Now, this is moving a lot faster than yesterday. This activity here is moving 30, 45 miles per hour, so it's going to come in quick, but the caveat to that is hopefully it's going to move out quick as well. The intensities here are a little bit heavier than yesterday as well. I think some of this could be some fairly heavy freezing rain, but hopefully this will be a quick shot in and out, fairly quick. Again, that's kind of the plan right now. I think now even after at least the leading edge moves out, there could be some lingering freezing showers around and maybe a little bit of freezing drizzle as we go through the day, so it's not completely over, but at least the heavier leading edge, the darker reds you're seeing right there, right now, hopefully we'll be able to get that in and out of here fairly quickly. But again, the one thing to keep in mind, it is going to be the roads. Again, as this next round comes back in, the side streets, again, lots of issues on the side streets, slick and hazardous. Aaron Spencer's been reporting that throughout the morning, even down here in Norman as I was driving into the office. Side roads, absolutely slick and hazardous. It's a little bit deceiving when we're looking at Aaron's video because we're looking at the major interstates. We've been looking at I-35, I-44, now we're looking at I-40. And again, right now, ODOT's done a great job, a tremendous job, I can tell you that, of keeping these interstates clear. There's a lot of salt and sand out there on them. You're getting a lot of spray up on the window. Aaron's had to clean his window a couple times, again, because of the salt and the sand that the ODOT's put down again overnight. And so it's a little bit deceiving as you're looking at those roads because they look clear, but I don't want you to think that all the roads in the metro are clear and you venture out and you have a spin out, because I can tell you the side roads as you're leaving your house, wherever you are, it is slick and hazardous essentially anywhere in the Oklahoma City metro. And again, travel anywhere in the metro, it is still 100% discouraged here at mid-morning. So with that being said, let's go and check back in with Aaron. Aaron, I think you're starting to get a little precipitation. I think we're starting to see a little freezing rain now falling on your window again as this next round number 3, the leading edge is now moving in. Aaron, give us a live update. Tell us where you are out there now on I-40.
Yes, William, we are just crossing over Radio Road, just right off of I-40. Also just to the east of El Reno. We're actually going to be setting up right here, giving you guys a live shot at I-40 as this freezing rain comes in. We're actually now getting it about 3 minutes ago. It started coming down pretty heavy. So I'm definitely starting to get that freezing rain coming into the El Reno area. And
yeah. Hey, Aaron Spencer, let me tell you this real quick too, Aaron Spencer. Just got a report coming in here. This is a good report here from somebody we trust carefully. There's torrential freezing rain now on the western sides of El Reno. So the report is torrential freezing rain on the western sides of El Reno. That's going to be moving into your area fairly quickly. It's this dark red here. So now again, looking at this two ways. It's moving fast, so we think we're going to be able to get it in and out fairly quickly, but compared to yesterday, the precipitation intensities are going to be quite a bit heavier. But see these darker bands here, the darker red you're seeing? So this is going to be heavy freezing rain. Got to report a quote-unquote torrential freezing rain. Again, that's going to be on the western sides of El Reno, and you can see where Aaron's live GPS is right there. That's going to be moving in, but unfortunately, some of this torrential freezing rain, what the report was, that's going to be tracking right on into the Oklahoma City metro. So we've got to track this carefully now, the way it looks from here. Let's do this. Let's go back to the video. And again, as you're out there on I-40, Aaron, as that precipitation is now initially just now starting to arrive in your area, it'll be very interesting because, again, this is what we do with winter weather. Again, we see what the radar's showing. We try and collect as many reports from the field as possible, but then our very own storm trackers that we have that we trust and we're showing their live video, we then verify it. Because a lot of times with wintry weather, radar at times can be a little misleading. So we're going to see with Aaron, very experienced storm tracker here, exactly what this precipitation is and exactly how heavy it is. And again, if we're seeing this torrential freezing rain. So we're going to see that here over the next few minutes as this essentially moves right into his area. Now we are starting to see it pick up here just a little bit. And Aaron, tell us again exactly where you are out there on I-40 and kind of give us an update on that precipitation.
Yes, William. So we are just to the west of Radio Road off of I-40. Right now we're getting about light to moderate freezing rain. I actually did just get a notification that in El Reno on I-40, the freezing rain is tracking through and it is starting to become really slick there just in El Reno. So as we're going through and this rain starts coming this way, I-40 is going to be getting slick, not just in El Reno, but as it starts tracking, through the Oklahoma City metro and also north into like Kingfisher and also around the Guthrie area.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're in perfect position there, that's for sure. So we're just going to kind of bounce between your live shot there and radar because we want to keep looking at radar here as well. Also down here on the southern sides of the metro, like down here in Norman, this is a double shot because we got a shot coming in down here in Norman as well. We've got a double shot here, one coming up through the Oklahoma City metro. You kind of see this how it's kind of broken apart there. So shot 1 and shot 2 down in here. But I can tell you shot 2 that's coming in down here around the southern sides of the metro, there's a lot more lightning with this activity. And again, like I said, I know, I've said this a couple times this morning, if I kind of sound like a broken record, like I'm kind of repeating myself over and over, the only reason why we have a lot of folks joining us now here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, and of course we appreciate you joining our coverage, but somebody who's maybe been watching us for like 2 hours and somebody who maybe has just tuned in, the person who just tuned in also needs this important information as well. So we kind of try and relay it over and over as quickly as possible. Again, that way, if you are just now joining us, you're able to get the information that you need. And at least right now on the southern sides of the metro, again, to talk about this lightning again, there is going to be some lightning and there is going to be some thunder, and that's going to catch some folks off guard down here on the southern sides of the metro as this moves on in. But again, as we take a look at this carefully, the little white bolts you're seeing here, like there's one there, there's one there, there's one there, there's 1, 2 there. So these are cloud to ground, not cloud to cloud, but cloud to ground lightning strikes sampled every 2 minutes. So this activity, these storms, these thunderstorms, these are bona fide thunderstorms, are quite electrically active. And again, that's going to be moving into the southern sides of the metro, more Norman and even Noble. And by the way, this is right here was the same activity down in North Texas that was actually severe warned about 2 hours ago for some quarter-size hail. So it's not completely impossible, especially in these darker areas of red, to maybe get some pea and shot-size hail, maybe still mixing in with those. So we're talking about thunderstorm, freezing rain, vivid lightning, and thunder. That again is going to be moving into the southern sides of the metro. That northern piece up there has also had a little bit of lightning as we've gone through the morning as well. We'll take a look at that, then we're going to take another look at Aaron's live shot. And this is where Aaron is, and again, the darker reds up here. Again, we do have a report coming in, not one of our storm trackers, but someone else saying torrential freezing rain on the western sides of El Reno. Again, we have our own storm tracker with live video we're watching, we're going to be talking to, so we'll try and verify that. But again, some of that darker red right there does look fairly heavy, I can tell you that, especially out there towards that Hinton exit on I-40. And again, like I said, in general, most of this here tracking towards the metro. So again, another shot of freezing rain coming on in. There's going to be some thunder, there's going to be a little bit of lightning, and from time to time, there might be a couple pieces of hail mixed in with this as well. Generally pea to shot-size hail, the way it looks right now. So let's do this here. Let's go back to the video. This is the other important thing you want to see here. Of course, it's the live video. That red dot that I just showed you, Aaron Spencer, this is him, and this is where he is there with his live video on I-40. And again, essentially what we're doing on days like today, we're basically seeing what the precipitation intensity is. We're looking at it on radar. Sometimes with wintry weather, radar can be a little misleading, so we're looking at it on radar, and now we're ground verifying it with our storm trackers who are out there. Of course, we're also monitoring the traffic conditions with our storm trackers here as well. But Aaron, again, let's go and get another update from you. You're out there on I-40. It doesn't look like there's as much precip showing up on your window as maybe just a few minutes ago, but give us another live update and tell us what you're seeing out there.
Yes, William, that's correct. We're not seeing as much rain as we were just a little bit ago. As one of the trucks go by, I was trying to clean off just a little bit more of the on-ramp. We're still kind of watching this band come through, and to me, looking at my radar here on the computer, it looks like there's a little bit of a dry patch between the north part of the winter cell and then just to the south, the one that's kind of heading towards Oklahoma City. So where we're at, we may not get as much freezing rain at this moment. It looks like there might be just a little bit heading back behind it. But right now, actually, the rain's starting to pick up here just a little bit as the band gets closer to us. But I will be giving you those live reports of the road conditions and how much precipitation is coming down as we get further on into the morning and afternoon periods. William, back to you.
Yeah, Aaron, looks like you're going to have a band of dark red come right up where you are, the way it looks to me here. So you are going to get some of this. We'll see, again, if it is moderately heavy freezing rain. Obviously, that's part of Aaron's responsibility out there as a storm tracker to let us know truly what this means. There he is right there, a darker red right back in here, tracking up towards him. So we'll be able to see here in just momentarily exactly how heavy this activity is. Now, it looks like a lot of the lightning with this, kind of northerly flank of this, a lot of the lightning up through here is starting to ease down a little bit back there towards Cordell out there in western Oklahoma. I see a lightning strike there, but a lot of the lightning here is starting to kind of ease on down. But I tell you what, it's a different story here, and it looks like it's trying to start to pick up right where you are there, Aaron. We're going to check your video again here in a second, but I want to go back down to the southern sides of the metro, because again, I think just a lot of folks are going to be caught off guard with this just a little bit, with this opportunity for some lightning and thunder, and especially down here in the more Norman area. Of course, our studio is located in downtown Norman, and again, these lightning bolts you're seeing here, these are all cloud to ground strikes, and again, there's several of them mixed in here. So again, as this activity down here, especially down around Chickasha and Rush Springs and Ninnekah, as this continues tracking northeast, number one, again, the way it looks, this is locally heavy freezing rain. You're seeing the darker reds mixing in, but you're also seeing these lightning strikes here as well. So there's going to be some lightning, there's going to be some thunder, very dynamic here. These are thunderstorms producing freezing rain. And again, that's going to move on into the metro. I think some of these darker areas, especially down here on the southerly flank of this activity, there could be a little bit of pea and shot size hail mixed in as well. This activity, what you're seeing right here, when this was down in North Texas about 2 hours ago, was severe warned for quarter size hail. There was a severe thunderstorm warning for freezing rain, quarter size hail, and vivid lightning. That was going on earlier. That's what's left of it now. Definitely still some lightning, maybe a little bit of small hail. That shot size hail could be possible, again, coming in on the southern sides of the metro. So again, just a very dynamic day with Oklahoma weather when we're talking about freezing rain, lightning, and again, possibly even just a little bit of small hail left with that as well. But the bottom line is, again, just like we've been talking about with Aaron through the day, again, as we're looking at his live shot there, again, out on I-40, as the freezing rain is now starting to pick up the way it looks, especially on his windshield. You see it there, it's picking up now out there along I-40. But again, the one thing we've really been talking about it is the roads, and that is the big concern today. A lot of the major highways that we've seen from Aaron so far today, talking about I-35, I-40, I-44, ODOT's done a really good job, and traffic is moving good. There's still slick spots. If you don't need to travel, you still don't need to get out on those. That's the bottom line. But it's really the side streets that are just so treacherous. It's almost a solid glaze of ice on a lot of the side streets. So again, even though you're seeing traffic moving okay on some of these major interstates, it's deceiving because, again, for you to get from your house to one of those major roadways, again, you're going to have to venture out on a solid sheet of ice. And I can tell you that's even the case down here in Norman. As I was driving to the studio in the office this morning, roads were absolutely treacherous. So, Aaron, you're still there. And again, on days like today, I say this all the time, but when we're talking about winter weather, this is really what we have to do. We kind of have to bounce around between radar and our storm trackers, because what we're doing, we're just kind of ground verifying what we're seeing on radar. And essentially, we're just kind of hanging out with you here as we go through the morning as this next round moves in. There's not a lot of fast changing weather conditions, but again, we're showing you the radar. And again, we're also showing you in real time what is actually happening out there with the road conditions. But Aaron, it looks like that precip is starting to pick up a little bit from what I'm seeing there on your window and your windshield. Give us an update on that and tell us again exactly where you are out there on I-40.
Yes, William. So I am agreeing with you. It is starting to pick up as that band is now starting to reach out to us. We're just right on the other side, or actually just on the west side of Radio Road off of I-40. Just on the outskirts of El Reno. Again, the rain is starting to pick up now as we've been sitting here. Road conditions are still, going smooth as of right now until you start getting a little bit further west. Again, like we have been getting those reports of Reno and I-40 being slick and hazardous. So, just definitely be careful if you're traveling on I-40, either coming from over near the Weatherford area or even going west out of Oklahoma City. So definitely be aware of that. And, also slow down. Just all in all, it doesn't matter if the roads look clear. There could always be just those small slick spots that you cannot see that we call black ice. So just definitely be careful out there today, and William, we'll give it back to you.
Okay, Aaron, appreciate that update. I tell you what, the Weather Service is actually just putting out a bit of an advisory here for some of this. Again, we're talking about thunderstorm activity, freezing rain, thunderstorm activity, with the possibility, at least, of some nickel-size hail still down around Chickasha. Of course, that's not severe. Quarter-size hail and above is severe, but this right here is the same activity across North Texas, southwest of Wichita Falls. This was severe with quarter-size hail, and this has moved up to the northeast as we've gone through the morning. A lot of lightning. You see the lightning right there, especially around the Chickasha area. So you're hearing some thunder from the lightning, but also around the Chickasha area, especially in these darker reds. There's a significant weather advisory now for the possibility of maybe even a little bit of nickel-size hail. So keep that in mind, especially on the southern sides of the metro. Nickel-size hail not necessarily going to do any damage. It's not even severe. But again, some folks are going to be caught off guard by this a little bit. They're going to hear some lightning. They're going to see some lightning, hear some thunder, and there's going to be a little bit of hail as this fairly heavy freezing rain moves on in. So very, very dynamic here, especially on the southern sides of the metro. So we've kind of got a double shot here. We've got this shot, the southern shot, that's going to be moving into the southern sides of the metro. Now where Aaron is, we've got the kind of the northerly flank of this activity, and he's up there around the El Reno area. That's where his live shot is. We're going to, again, check back in with him here in just a second. But there's kind of that northerly flank, and a lot of this is lifting a little bit more northeasterly. It's lifting a little bit more northeasterly. So a lot of this is actually kind of trying to lift a little bit further to the north of the Oklahoma City metro, which is right down in here. But the way it looks to me, especially where you're really seeing these darker reds, I think right here on Highway 81 from Dover all the way down to Okarche, Kingfisher being included there, that's some fairly moderately heavy freezing rain that's ongoing. You see that right there? You see that dark spot? See these other dark spots back here in Blaine County, northeastern Canadian County there as well. So this is moderately heavy freezing rain, but it's lifting a little bit more northeasterly up here towards the I-35 corridor. Of course, the Oklahoma City Metro being right back over in here, Oklahoma County specifically. So it's lifting a little bit more to the northeast. But even with that being said, I think kind of the southerly flank might be what truly starts to move into the Oklahoma City Metro. And Aaron, you know what? If I was you, I would actually start heading back to the east and get back closer to downtown. This is turning a little bit more to the north. So this northerly flank, again, as we're talking about double shots, kind of north and south, this is lifting a little bit more to the north. This here may not necessarily affect Oklahoma County, but the southerly part that has maybe a little bit of hail up to the size of nickels and some vivid lightning mixing in, freezing rain thunderstorm here, this may actually lift a little bit more to the north, right on in to downtown Oklahoma City, more Norman, Noble as well. This activity here, you see it there, lifting a little bit more to the north as well. So it really doesn't matter which one it is. It's going to be freezing rain regardless. But the only reason why I kind of highlight that is the piece of this that is producing the lightning and a little bit of small hail. The way it looks right now, this is turning a little bit more to the north, and that's the piece that's going to move on into the metro. So there's Aaron Spencer right there. Aaron, if I was you, I would go and actually head back towards downtown Oklahoma City. I think this southerly flank here, I think this is going to be what's tracking back on up into the metro. So I would go and turn around, and we'll kind of track that again as it comes on in, even down here in the Norman area as well. It's going to be moving on in. So we're looking at Aaron's live shot. Looks like he's already turning around. And so we're going to get another update from Aaron. Again, like I said, we're bouncing around with the radar. We're bouncing around with our storm trackers, our live cams here. Again, essentially that's what you have to do when you're talking about winter weather. You look at the radar, see what's going on. But just like the last 2 days, this is day number 3 of winter weather we've had live here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. Of course, storm trackers out in the field each and every day as well. And again, this is what you have to do. You have to look at radar, see what it looks like on radar, and then you ground verify it with the storm trackers. Winter weather can be very deceiving, especially on radar as well. What exactly is it doing, and what is the intensity of the precipitation? And that's why we have our dedicated team of experienced storm trackers. They let us know that, but then also with winter weather, the other piece of it, yes, they have to let us know about the road conditions out there as well. And as we know, we've had some big time road issues as we've gone over the last 2 days, of course, today being day number 3. But Aaron, we've got your video pulled back up. I think you're starting to head back the other way, might be turning around right now, heading back towards downtown Oklahoma City again as we have this next piece of freezing rain with some thunder, some lightning, and possibly a couple little pockets of hail up to the size of nickels now moving in over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Again, give us an update, kind of let us know about the roads. You've been out and about all morning. You've been on a lot of the major interstates, I-35, I-44, I-40 now. Let us know, give us an update on the roads, kind of what you've been seeing out there, and again, any kind of precipitation you're seeing out there now as well.
Yes, William. Well, we just got into El Reno. We're actually turning around again to start heading back towards the Oklahoma City Metro. All the interstates that we've been on so far haven't been slick yet, and so we're kind of just watching that right now. There's not really any really thick ice. It's just kind of the slush that we've been seeing for most of the day. So, again, they're not very treacherous right now, but that doesn't mean they couldn't change at a moment's notice, because they did yesterday, and we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. Just going to give you guys an update on what's going on. Back to you.
Yeah, Aaron, and also just to kind of add on to what Aaron is saying as well, again, he's talking about the major interstates that, again, the ODOT crews, Oklahoma Department of Transportation crews have done a phenomenal job keeping the major interstates around the metro clear. I'm talking about I-35, I-40, I-240, I-40, things like that. And again, you're seeing it there in real time. Not sure what's going, that's probably not the smartest thing right there we're seeing. But again, overall, you're seeing the major interstates fairly clear around the Oklahoma City Metro. But I can tell you, it's the side roads, it's the side streets. You getting from your neighborhood to a major road, that's where the real problem is. And again, we've even seen that here in Norman. Me driving into the studio this morning in Norman, the roads are absolutely treacherous. Again, they're completely ice covered. And again, the bottom line is, if you don't have to get out and about on the roads, even though as you're seeing some of Aaron's video and you're essentially seeing a lot of the major interstates looking okay right now with still some slick spots, again, in order to get to one of those major interstates, you're going to have to really go through a sheet of ice. You're going to have to drive on a sheet of ice to get there, and that's why travel is 100% discouraged. Now, I understand some people have to go to work. If the boss says you have to be at work, you have to be at work. There's really not a lot you can do. So some people have to go out and get out on this and get to work. But again, if you don't have to go to work, it's not an emergency. Essentially the bottom line, it's just 100% recommended you don't get out on the roads today. And again, if you're thinking about, running to Walmart to go pick something up, going to your friend's house, whatever it is, something you don't have to do, it's those situations where you really just need to stay off the roads, especially with the secondary round now of moderate freezing rain with lightning and thunder and a little bit of small hail mixed in as well. That's going to be moving through the metro here over the next 30 minutes. So definitely keep that in mind. And just to put it in perspective, we talked about this yesterday as well, but again, if you're venturing out on the roads and you don't have to, you're driving your car or your truck, your SUV, whatever it is, keep in mind your insurance, your deductible, if something, some kind of traffic scenario were to happen, that's your personal property there that could become damaged or even worse. So you definitely have to keep that in mind on days like today, again, if you don't have to get out on the roads. So we're looking at Aaron's live shot again, and this is essentially I-40. This is what he was talking about. And this is essentially the way I-40, I-35, and I-44, I-240 look around the metro. They're wet, but overall there are slick spots, but they're not as bad as they could be from what we saw yesterday. They're not as bad as some of the side roads are. And again, like I said, you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt, because in order to get to these roads, you would definitely have to battle through some slick and hazardous conditions, because the side streets are not like this at all. So don't take this as though the streets are improving and you can get out and about. Again, just the major interstates around the metro, at least right now, are looking okay. But again, like I mentioned, we have that next round of freezing rain with thunder and lightning, a little bit of small hail that's going to be moving on into the metro. Let's go and do another radar update here as well. Speaking of that, I've kind of moved the radar here just a little bit further to the south because I think this piece here is what's going to be tracking up towards the metro. This piece here, we've kind of got two pieces, a southern piece and a northern piece. This all developed down in North Texas. Now the southern piece that you're looking at here, really focusing over Chickasha and Grady County now, as this piece was down across portions of North Texas maybe about 2 hours ago now. This was actually severe warned, and that was warned for quarter-size hail. There was quarter-size hail, freezing rain, and vivid lightning. Now there's no longer quarter-size hail here, but there's still an opportunity for maybe some small hail. The Weather Service, as of 30 minutes ago, was still reporting the possibility of some nickel-size hail, especially around the Chickasha area. So as this piece here moves up towards the metro, there is going to be an opportunity for some small hail, maybe up to the size of nickels. That could be possible. But the other thing is, see all these little lightning bolts that are showing up here on radar? Those are all cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. And that sampled over 2 minutes. So again, not even cloud to cloud, but we're talking about cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. So these are bona fide thunderstorms here. And again, those are going to be tracking right up towards the Oklahoma City metro. It's the southern piece here. As this activity is lifting a little bit more to the north, that's going to be moving up into the metro. And by the way, as we're also looking at this as well, some of these, especially those darker red areas within this precipitation wave here, there's going to be an opportunity for some at least moderately heavy freezing rain the way it looks right now as well. So this should be in and out. It's moving fairly quickly. We're going to try and get this in and out of the metro fairly quickly, but again, as we go through the afternoon, there's still going to be some lingering freezing rain showers, some lingering freezing rain drizzle, even as we go through the afternoon as well. So we're going to be tracking this carefully. And again, the red dots you're seeing right there as well, just to clarify, these are storm trackers. Aaron Spencer, his red dot, again, he was out there around El Reno. Again, he's now tracking back towards downtown Oklahoma City, again, as this next wave of at least moderately heavy freezing rain comes in. I tell you what, back here from Binger to Gracemont, that definitely looks, that may just be heavy freezing rain, not even moderately heavy. But again, right back in there, you see that there, that could be some downright heavy freezing rain. Again, the general motion on that will take that up towards the Yukon and Mustang area here over the next 30 minutes or so. So we're tracking all that carefully. And again, with that piece, of course, our storm tracker video here as well. I want to also, let's go and take a look at our downtown OKC cam. If we can get that punched up here, if we can take a look at the downtown OKC cam, because outside of that, there is a lot of freezing fog and freezing drizzle that is also really set into the metro as we've gone through the morning. And as we take a look at our downtown OKC cam here, it's really showing it. This downtown OKC cam that's on the top of the Climb Up Gym, directly across from downtown Oklahoma City, really tells this story well. And again, normally you'd be able to see the Oklahoma City skyline. So hidden in the fog and the freezing mist, you're seeing right there that all whiteout conditions there. There's actually skyscrapers back in here. The Devon Tower, you can see the base of it This would be the Devon Tower right here. And so again, with the freezing fog, the freezing drizzle, and a little bit of light freezing rain just now starting here in the metro, essentially you can't even see the skyline. So this is what the actual conditions around the Oklahoma City metro look like right there. And again, within that freezing fog and freezing drizzle we're seeing right now, again, we're going to see that freezing rain, could be a little bit of moderately heavy freezing rain, a little bit of lightning and thunder, maybe a little bit of small hail. And again, all that's going to be moving in here over the next 30 minutes. Want to go back to Aaron Spencer's live video here as well. And again, like I've said several times, on days like today, this is what we have to do. We look at radar, we look at the live cams, and then we go back to the storm trackers as well. Kind of get an overview from them if they're seeing any precipitation, how the roads are and exactly what's going on. Of course, that's important for you folks that are watching as well. But Aaron, you're back on the live line here with us. We're looking at your video. He's heading back east now on I-40, back towards downtown Oklahoma City. Again, as our next round of freezing rain is about to arrive, and he'll be in perfect position for that as it arrives. But Aaron, as you're heading back towards downtown Oklahoma City, give us an update out there on I-40 and let us know if any precipitation that you're seeing right now.
Yes, William. Well, we're just now starting to get some heavier raindrops as we're heading back towards Oklahoma City. While you were giving the report, we saw a pretty good-sized flash of lightning. So, we can ground verify that there is lightning hitting the ground. So, also just wanted to kind of brush up on that. Anybody that's outside, that thinks it's kind of okay to be playing around in the ice or the snow, maybe with your kids or whatnot. Definitely right now is not the best time to be outside. You may think it's still, that cold, wintry time when nothing bad can happen, but you can get struck by lightning, and that wouldn't be a good deal for you or your family. So just definitely stay indoors as these storms come through, and also be safe out there on the roads if you're having to go, from work to home, or maybe you're just not heading to work. So just definitely be careful out there. The roads are still, they're actually starting to get a little more damp than what they were earlier. So, they're going to become more slick than they were when we were first giving the update earlier this morning. Back to you.
Okay, Aaron, appreciate that update. And yeah, no, absolutely great advice there. Again, we're talking about freezing rain, but we're also talking about lightning safety. Some people would say only in Oklahoma, but that's not the case. So this is a common phenomenon where you can get some elevated thunderstorm activity, and you get the freezing rain effect with it as well. But these are bona fide thunderstorms that are coming into the metro. Again, you will see some lightning, you will hear some thunder, as Aaron was just talking about there. And in fact, this kind of southerly flank that's coming on into the metro, it's fairly electrically active. So you will definitely hear some thunder as it comes on through. Precip here, precipitation really starting to pick up now on Aaron's window as well. So again, this is kind of that next wave that's moving on in, and again, you can see right there live again how that precip is starting to pick up in intensity as this is just now kind of starting to arrive on into the metro. I want to go back to radar. We're going to get back to Aaron's live shot here in just a second, but I want to go back to radar here as well. And as we do that, and we kind of take an overview of what we have going on out there, like I said, this is the next wave that's moving on into the metro and the Oklahoma City metro. And so again, there's Aaron's GPS. You can see some of that moderately heavy freezing rain, kind of the area pink right there where Aaron's live GPS is. He's heading back towards downtown Oklahoma City. So we know we've got some moderate and kind of that lighter pink, but the more concerning part of this are some of these darker reds. You see those darker reds showing up in there as well. And also look at all that lightning. The lightning has really picked up again over the last 5 minutes. Wow, look at that. So and again, these are cloud to ground, not even cloud to cloud. Sampling this every 2 minutes, this updates, it samples it every 2 minutes. But look at all of those cloud to ground. Even for a general thunderstorm in Oklahoma, that's quite a bit of lightning. So this is quite a bit of lightning. You're really going to hear these now as this comes on in now into the southern and western sides of the Oklahoma City metro. There's Aaron's dot. You see it moving live there as well. But again, as we get back into some of these darker reds, that would be the more concerning part of this as this comes on through. I think we're going to see some bona fide moderate to possibly just outright heavy freezing rain again as this moves on in. Again, this is moving fairly quickly. That's the other thing we've been talking about through the morning, moving 30, 40 miles per hour, maybe 45 miles per hour. So hopefully we can get at least the heavier part of this kind of in and well out of the metro fairly quickly as we go through the morning. That's not completely locked in. So of course we're going to track this second by second. But again, just don't be caught off guard when you hear some thunder. Very dynamic here. Again, you're seeing all those cloud to ground lightning strikes. Again, moving right up on into the Oklahoma City metro. Let's move the radar around. We'll get back to Aaron's video here in 1 second, but let's move the radar around here a little bit. especially for our friends up on the northern sides of the metro. And wow, look at this here as well. Lots of dark red up here in Kingfisher County. I tell you what, up here on Highway 81, even up around Enid, there's a fairly decent dark core there. But I think really where we're really seeing some moderately heavy to maybe outright heavy freezing rain, especially here in Kingfisher County. Hennessy, Dover, all the way back down through Kingfisher, Okarche, Highway 81 corridor. Look at that. Wow, that's really impressive. All that really dark red, you're seeing that there. Back over through Marshall, even Lovell, that's getting back over there into portions of Logan County. Of course, this here lifting kind of north-northeast, so Cummington, Garber. Again, if the intensity holds, again, that's if the intensity holds here, that's going to be tracking back up here towards Noble County, the I-35 corridor. I think it's safe to say that's moderately heavy to maybe outright heavy freezing rain, especially that darker red. That's looking very impressive to me right there, I'll tell you that. So let's go back to Aaron's video here. That's kind of the radar update. Again, we're just going to keep bouncing back and forth. That's really all you can do with winter weather coverage. You're bouncing between radar and video, and it's picking up now. Look at that. So, of course, he's out on I-40. He's getting in that moderate band. It's about to pick up to moderately heavy. And then I think as it gets to downtown Oklahoma City and that next kind of wave, that second shot we've been talking about comes on up, I think that's when we might see some outright heavy freezing rain. So we're about to find out on that. We're about to ground verify that, but it looks like it's really picking up. Aaron, you're still on the live line with us. And, like I said, just over the last few minutes, we're kind of ground verifying what we're seeing on radar to what's happening in real life. And I think what we're seeing on radar is pretty much matching up to real life here, that this is, at least right now, moderate freezing rain that you're seeing there on I-40. Again, as that second shot comes on up, I think we're going to see some moderately heavy to heavy freezing rain. You'll have to let us know on that here in just a second. But let us know what you're seeing out there. Let us know where you are now. I think you're getting closer now back into Oklahoma County. So tell us where you are and give us an update on the precip out there as well.
Yes, William. Well, we are just to the north of Mustang, just not getting back into the Oklahoma City metro. We're getting some moderately heavy to, again, heavy rain now as we're getting back closer. And as this line of storms are coming through, traffic's definitely starting to slow down, which is a good sign that people are paying attention to the roads and, how they've been for the past couple of days. So, again, this is not just rain. This is, again, freezing rain. So if you think it's just going to fall and kind of like, during the spring and summertime where it's just rain, that's not quite the case. It's going to be freezing to elevated surfaces like overpasses and off-ramps and also bridges, as well as electricity poles and trees and even signs and stuff like that. So definitely we're going to be paying attention to the electricity lines as well as the trees. Although this is going to be moving through pretty quickly, it's got this very heavy rain or freezing rain that's going to be coming through. So William, back to you.
Yeah, Aaron, this is pretty impressive here. And let me show you what else is also pretty impressive as well. So let's go back to Mesoscan radar. So the lightning's really picked up on this. You can see where Aaron is. That's moderately heavy freezing rain. He's absolutely right about the power lines. I don't think we're going to have any major power issues, but the thing you have to keep in mind, freezing rain, it basically freezes on contact. You get a bout of heavy freezing rain that comes through. Things have been super cooled now below freezing for, the last 2 days at least. So that's a little bit concerning. I don't think it's a major deal right now. But the lightning on this, in fact, I think we just heard a little bit of lightning. So we're in downtown Norman, or a little bit of thunder. I think we just heard that here. And this activity, I tell you what, it's really electrically active. You're going to hear this now as it comes on through the metro. But again, sampling this every 2 minutes, lots of cloud to ground, not even picking up on the cloud to cloud here. Talking about cloud to ground strikes only, direct strikes. Several there, especially out there in Grady County. So again, as this comes on through, talking about moderately heavy freezing rain, you're going to hear some thunder with this as it comes through. And just like we mentioned, there's actually an opportunity for some small hail, pea, shot size hail, maybe even as large as nickel size hail, especially down here around Chickasha. That could be possible. So there could be a little bit of hail mixing in with this activity as well. Again, as it comes on into the Oklahoma City metro. So essentially elevated thunderstorms. These are bona fide thunderstorms that are producing freezing rain, again, as this comes on through. Now, the other thing I don't want you to be caught off guard with, this is a little deceiving, where the computer's trying to paint some of this green like this is not freezing rain, or, it all falls as liquid rain, but there's not an opportunity for it to freeze on contact. That's a little bit deceiving because these live air temperature numbers, you see them there, at least from McLean County to the north, 31, 30, it's still freezing. So even though this is painting this green, this is freezing rain. It has an opportunity to freeze on contact. So it's not just outright liquid rain. So keep that in mind. So even though that's green, that should actually be red. And that's why we're verifying that there with those live air temperature numbers. There's Aaron's live GPS. So he'll be in downtown Oklahoma City fairly quickly. And then again, these darker reds, this is what's going to be moving in over the next hour or so. And again, just like we saw in his video, we're about to take another look at it here in just a second. It's coming down. And so this is going to be moderately heavy to at times heavy freezing rain, a lightning, thunder, and just a little bit of small hail coming through the metro as well. Pea shot size hail coming on in as well. So let's go back to his video. And then we'll also check our downtown Oklahoma City cam. It's almost completely gray out conditions in downtown Oklahoma City now with the freezing fog and mist and some of this rain that's now moving in as well. So this is just really a wintry mess. And of course, you know, talking about the travel conditions, that's really the main concern as we go through the day today. That's all about the travel conditions. And, you know, as we're looking at I-40, Aaron's on I-40 here, you know, the major interstates around the metro, talking about like I-35, I-44, I-40, I-240. For the most part overnight, ODOT, Oklahoma Department of Transportation, did a really good job of keeping those clear. It's primarily been the side streets that are 100% slick and hazardous. Again, that's why all travel in the metro is absolutely discouraged. If you don't have to get out and about, don't do it. Again, like I said, looking at the interstates, it's a little bit deceiving. But again, as this next shot of freezing rain comes in, the primary impacts to travel that this is going to give us, it's going to be on the bridges and it's going to be on the overpasses. It's going to be the bridges and the overpasses. You know, a lot of the roads, this is just going to kind of add to the, at least liquid effect to the roads, but it's going to be those bridges and overpasses that are super cooled from really the last several days that we've been below freezing, that this could end up causing some significant issues on the bridges and the overpasses. So again, just the bottom line, with all that in mind, any travel today around the metro is discouraged. I know it kind of sounds like a broken record when we say that over and over, but again, hopefully we're motivating you not to get out there. Again, you know, some folks have to go to work. If the boss says you have to go in, you have to go in. There's nothing you can do. We understand that. But again, it's for the folks that are maybe just going to Walmart or running to a friend's house or doing an errand. If you don't have to get out in these conditions, you know, don't risk your car, don't risk your insurance, your deductible on your car. Don't do those things. You know, don't put yourself in that position, and of course others that you could affect, again, if you unfortunately had to spin out, or even worse if you're out there on the road. So definitely, you know, keep that in mind. But I want to get back to Aaron, and again, he's still on the live line, and I want to get back with him. We're going to get back on our radar here in just a second as well. We'll also check the OKC live cam, but I keep wanting to kind of check in with Aaron because, again, you know, I'm essentially doing the same thing you're doing. I'm looking at this through a TV screen, but Aaron is actually there in real life, and he's able to kind of report back to us. That's why it's so important, of course, on days like today to have your team of trackers out there, because they're able to ground verify. A lot of times with these winter weather events, you know, radar can be a little deceiving. You can kind of look at radar, see where things are, but then you really have to verify what is actually going on as far as the precipitation type and the intensity of it. And of course, that's really been important over the last several days as we've been talking and tracking winter weather here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. But Aaron, you're still on the live line with us. I think you're still out there on I-40. Tell us where you are now and give us a live update from out there.
Yes, William, we're just now passing Rockwell Avenue. We're still tracking east. We're just now getting back down into the downtown Oklahoma City metro as we just saw another lightning strike. Rain is still moderately heavy, so we're still kind of tracking that as we're going towards the Oklahoma City metro. Again, guys, this is freezing rain. It's not, you know, it's not just the liquid rain that you know you're used to seeing during the spring and the summertime. This is freezing rain. It's going to freeze on contact with any surface that's not, you know, above freezing, which we've been below freezing for, you know, the past couple of days. So that's why we're having, you know, so much trouble trying to get things to, you know, unfreeze and get the road conditions to where they're not slick and hazardous. So that's what we're watching right now. I haven't really noticed any slick roads, and we're actually about to go over a bridge right now with a road that goes under us. But it still doesn't seem to be slick, so, you know, that's a good thing, but, you know, don't always anticipate that the bridges and overpasses aren't going to be slick, because there will be a couple that you turn off on or you go over that you think you're going to be okay, and then the next minute you will, you know, slide off the roads and, you know, you'll be in an accident. So definitely be paying attention to the roads and also the weather around you. So William, back to you.
Okay, Aaron Spencer, great job out there, again, kind of battling the elements. And again, you know, our storm trackers, you know, obviously they're in their chase vehicles, but, you know, at the same time, I mean, they're kind of essentially at the same risk as anyone else out on these roads, out in these conditions. By the way, Oklahoma City Police now saying they're no longer responding to any non-injury accidents. Oklahoma City Police saying they're no longer responding to any non-injury accidents. Multiple accidents now being reported within the Oklahoma City Metro. And again, just like Aaron said, he just saw that lightning strike. There's his live GPS. Well, let's match this up in real time. Look at that. Cloud of ground strike there, cloud of ground strike there. So not sure which one he saw, but there they were, boom and boom. So again, as these come on in, they are electrically active, talking about freezing rain, but these are what we call elevated thunderstorms. These are thunderstorms coming in. And again, there is that threat of lightning. So keep in mind, it sounds weird talking about winter weather, but talking about lightning safety, these have been fairly electrically active. Even for general thunderstorms in Oklahoma, we've had a lot of lightning with these. So keep in mind your lightning safety. I know that really sounds weird, but that's truly the case as these are now coming on into the metro. Lightning strike there. I mean, and again, that's just over the last 2 minutes. So again, like I said, even down here in Norman, just hearing a little bit of thunder just now as well. But again, right now, at least the bottom line, this at least moderate to at times moderately heavy freezing rain moving back into the metro with lightning and thunder. And also this activity, there's an opportunity for maybe still some shot size and some pea-size hail as well. This activity earlier down in North Texas, before it crossed into Oklahoma, was actually severe warned. Even though it was producing freezing rain, it was also producing quarter-size hail and vivid lightning, and it was severe warned at that time. No longer severe, nothing like that at all, but there's still an opportunity for, again, heavy freezing rain, a little bit of small hail, pea-size, shot size, and again, also we're getting reports of some vivid lightning. We're seeing it on radar as well. Again, just sampling this over the last 2 minutes, those are all cloud to ground lightning strikes, not just cloud to cloud strikes. But again, the darker reds just now starting to arrive in the Oklahoma City Metro. There's a fairly decent opportunity, some fairly heavy freezing rain again as we go over the next hour to two. Hopefully we'll be able to get this in and out fairly quickly. It is moving fairly fast, so hopefully it'll move in and again move out fairly quickly with maybe some lingering freezing drizzle. Either way, it's not a good deal. Freezing drizzle or freezing rain, both bad, but hopefully we can get some of this heavier freezing rain on out of here. So that's the radar update. Let's go back to Aaron's video here. And again, Aaron, we're just kind of looking at your video again, just kind of taking it all again, just kind of minute by minute and second by second, as we have really over the last 3 days with winter weather coverage here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. Again, this is just essentially what you have to do, on days like today. You kind of look at radar, you see what the radar is showing, where this activity is moving. We look at our live cams around the metro as well. But then again, really the most important thing, it is our team of trackers. Very experienced team of trackers, all Oklahomans. They've been doing this for a while. And then they're here with us live. And of course, like I said, even though they have chase vehicles, chase equipment, essentially they're kind of at the same risk as everyone else who's out on the roads. Heaven forbid someone else spun out in front of them, spun into them, could be an accident. Of course, they're not unsusceptible to maybe a spin out themselves. So again, they're really, kind of putting themselves at risk here as well, being out on the roads, but we really appreciate them. Again, just doing a phenomenal job, working a lot of hours over the last several days and putting in a lot of miles, bringing us this live video here as well. But Aaron, you're back in the metro. It looks like, I think you're just turning back on maybe 44 there is what I think. You'll have to tell us that for sure. Or maybe you're just making the turn there, possibly still there on I-40. You'll have to tell us exactly where you are. But again, it looks like that freezing rain, it looks like it still continues to kind of pick up in intensity. I would say it's probably fairly moderate right now. But tell us again exactly where you are and update us on what you're seeing out there with the precipitation.
Yes, William. So again, we are back in the metro. We just turned on to 44. So we're getting some more up to heavy rain, heavy freezing rain now. It's kind of hard to see at some points in time, especially because of all the vehicles on the road and kind of throwing up that the spray in the air. So definitely having to keep the wipers on full blast. But again, the overpasses and bridges, they're really not all that slick yet. I'm not saying they're not going to be, but just as of right now, as the rain is falling, the roads aren't just that slick, which is good. Hopefully it can just stay that way, and maybe we can, go a little bit above freezing, so all this rain doesn't refreeze and then make the road conditions even worse than they have been. So we're definitely going to be updating you guys on that as we get a little bit closer into Oklahoma City, and then we'll be coming back here with you live. William, back to you.
All right, Aaron, great job. Again, Aaron Spencer, part of our team of trackers out there. I want to take a look at a different radar view because I'm just kind of looking at some new data coming in here to the forecast center. Of course, the big question today is when will we get above 32? and will it happen? And looking at some new data, we might do something here called wet bulbing as we're starting to get this precipitation in, and we may not be able to make it above 32. And that could be bad. And the reason why is because as we can take a look back here to the southwest, things are really regenerating. We kind of had just that initial band that was moving up towards the metro, but over the last hour, see how this is filling in? See how it's regenerating and filling in? I can tell you the colors on the radar today, don't pay any attention to them, because even though the radar itself is trying to paint this back in as a little bit of liquid rain and no freezing potential with it, that's not the case. The temperatures down here, 29, 30, this is all freezing rain. And you see the intensities there, it's heavy freezing rain. That's heavy freezing rain today. And it's regenerating back to the southwest, and all this is training and tracking up towards the northeast, towards the Oklahoma City metro. So that is going to be the big question today. Can we get to 32 and above? And right now, I don't necessarily know that we're going to be able to. I'm going to show you live temperatures here while we have the weather computer up here. We're going to take a look at live temperatures around the area here as well. And again, I can tell you in real time, again, these temperatures here, live from the Oklahoma Mesonet. Again, not talking about temperatures that update like every hour, but again, live off the Mesonet. Again, you're talking about 29s and 30s. So that's what I'm saying. Very misleading what the radar was showing us, trying to transition that back over to really no freezing potential at all. That's not the case. 30, 29, you see those there. And even here in the metro, 29 and 30. We may just kind of hover right around 30 over the next several hours. And so that's what we have to track because there was that potential today for us to try and get above freezing just barely. But as that moisture was coming through, we were going to slowly be trying to get above freezing where it would only be liquid without any freezing potential. And that may not happen. So that may not happen as we go through the day. So that's what we're going to track. And the only reason why that's so important today is because as we go back to radar here, and in fact, let's go and take one other view. Let's go and take the regional view. Again, I know we just kind of keep zooming out, but the reason why we keep zooming out here on radar is because it's important, because you can see how things are regenerating back down here to the south. See how it's regenerating back down here, then lifting up. So if we don't get above freezing, and we just keep regenerating freezing rain and it keeps coming back over, you can see, well, that's where things could be concerning. So as we're doing this, as we're analyzing this and putting the forecast together, those are things that we look at. And so if it looks like the precipitation is going to wind down or there's not going to be a big freezing potential, then it's not as big of a deal. But if it starts to look like it's going the other way, where temperatures may wet bulb and really not get above 32, and we might keep getting regeneration down here of freezing rain, and we get a couple waves of freezing rain through, then things bounce the other way, and it may not be as good of a situation. So that's what we're tracking carefully here in the forecast center. This is really going to be evolving. I can tell you that right now as we go through the day, 100% for sure. So let's do this. Let's go back to the video. That's the other important thing that we have going on here. And of course, like I said, our team of trackers, they're out. And again, this is Aaron Spencer's video, sticking with him right now in the Oklahoma City metro. He's just been all around the metro, and right now this is the area that we're really focusing in on, only because of, again, the travel conditions out there. They were already bad. They're getting worse now. They're deteriorating quickly. The side streets are, essentially slick and hazardous. Some of the major thoroughfares, including like the interstates, ODOT did a great job overnight having those at least open, so you could travel on them without any major issues. Still slick spots, as we've seen from Aaron throughout the day, but now with this heavy freezing rain settling back in, like I said, travel conditions in the metro absolutely discouraged. Oklahoma City Police, again, not responding now to any non-injury accidents. Got to keep that in mind. So Aaron, you're on the live line. Looks like this moderate to moderately heavy freezing rain, it's really settling in now. Give us an update and tell us exactly where you are here in the metro.
Yes, William. We are just now passing Classen Boulevard. We're still getting that heavy rain. We have been for the past 10 to 15 minutes, maybe a little longer than that. We're going over this overpass right now, and it looks like the left side, or the furthest left lane, is very slick. Now you saw in the live shot this car switches lanes right in front of me without a blinker. You guys need to be using your blinkers, not just in this weather, but all the time, of course. But definitely now where it's kind of hard to see vehicles, especially if you have a darker colored vehicle, just don't forget to use your blinkers, because that could save your life or somebody else's life, just because you're pulling out in front of somebody else. So, definitely be careful, use your signals so people know which lane you're going to be turning into, especially when you're getting on the interstate. But, again, roads are, just staying damp right now. They're not slick, which is a good thing, but it could change after all this rain stops and, the cooler temperatures and whatnot. But, definitely going to keep giving you guys live updates as we're just now getting closer to Edmond. I think we're going to try to set up around the Frontier City to kind of give you guys a live shot of I-35, and then we'll get back with you guys here shortly. William, back to you.
Hey, Aaron, lots of lightning coming in now around the Norman area. So this is the other piece of this, and we've been talking about it throughout the morning. Lots of lightning with this activity as well. So these are elevated thunderstorms. These are thunderstorms that are producing freezing rain, but lots of lightning now coming in around the Norman area. Of course, Norman right down in here, live air temperature of 30, so anything that does fall, it's going to be liquid, but it's going to freeze on contact. Still freezing rain we're talking about. The thunder that we just heard here in the studio, it's probably that strike right there. Another one, just heard another one right there. So again, this is going to catch some people off guard. Again, these storms, I'm kind of pointing out the lightning strikes. Again, cloud to ground, not necessarily cloud to cloud, cloud to ground strikes. Going to catch some people off guard as they're hearing thunder coming on in as well. And of course, a lot of times when we're talking about winter weather, we don't necessarily talk about lightning safety. I don't think there's really a lot of people out, just out and about doing things right now, but keep in mind lightning safety. And I know that might sound a little weird to say when we're talking about freezing rain, but that is actually the case because these storms are very electrically active. And again, this is what's coming in the Norman area. You're going to hear this as it comes on in as well. Also, the colors on the radar are a little bit deceiving as well because the radar is trying to start to paint this back to rain, which all this is rain anyway. Freezing rain just has that potential to freeze on contact. And the computer's trying to say down around the Noble area, that's not necessarily the case anymore. But I can tell you it's not wrong because the live air temperature in Norman's only 30. We're 2 degrees still below freezing. This is all freezing rain here too. So don't let that deceive you. But also, as we're looking at this, and let me kind of move the radar a little bit because this is almost in a good way, because obviously with just the red showing up there, it's kind of hard to gauge the precipitation intensity. But where the computer's trying to kind of turn it back to no freezing potential, you can see that yellows and the orange is showing up. So I mean, this is heavy rain. I mean, either way you look at it, it's heavy rain. So you can see if we weren't, coating this with red and the freezing rain, you could see this is what radar would be looking like. So again, this is absolutely locally heavy rain that's going to be moving in. Look at all those new lightning strikes. Again, sampling this every 2 minutes all around the Oklahoma City metro. Thunder, lightning, you're hearing it right now as this moves on in. But again, this is locally heavy rain that's moving in. Opportunity for it to freeze on contact, temperature still below 30. And I tell you what, we got to watch for the glazing. We got to watch for the glazing as we go through the day. Depending on how long this lasts, there's an opportunity that we may try and get above freezing as we go through the afternoon. Might try and make 33, maybe 34 as we go through the day. If it doesn't happen, if we only stay at this 29, 30 degree mark as we go through the day today, there's going to be real opportunity, especially for the elevated surfaces. Talking about the power lines, and we don't really want to say that yet, that they could get a significant glaze on them. And it's really thundering here in Norman. Things are rocking and rolling down here in Norman. We got heavy thunder now here at the studio, downtown Norman, Main Street, and Collier. It's just an evolving weather deal. These winter weather things always are in Oklahoma. Nothing's ever locked in. We all know that if you've lived here for very long. But today was one of those days that looked like we were going to try and get above freezing. We were going to start with kind of this wintry mess and then maybe go to all liquid with rain without the opportunity for freezing potential through the afternoon. And the newest data is saying that may or may not happen. And depending on how long this precipitation lasts, if it stays this heavy, and if we stay at 29 or 30, I've really got my eyes on this, I can tell you. So fingers crossed we're going to get above freezing, and this isn't a big deal at all. But this could be a big-time glaze if the temperatures hover where they are now and don't move much through the afternoon, and if the precipitation stays where it is as far as the intensity goes as well. I want to do this. I want to go back to Mesoscan radar because we took our winter weather coating off, our coloring off, and so this is just showing just rain. So this is just the normal radar presentation here. And again, you can see this is outright moderate to moderately heavy rain that's moving on into the metro. We're talking about oranges, some darker oranges. Again, all freezing rain still. This is all freezing rain. Live air temperatures, eastern Oklahoma County 30, downtown Oklahoma City 30, 29 only out there in El Reno. Again, with that band, you see that band there of that darker orange that just moved through there. Down here in Norman 30 as well, a band of locally heavy rain moving through. Again, there's the live lightning strikes, cloud to ground lightning happening, thunder happening, rocking and rolling down here in Norman, I can tell you that. And again, so as this moves through, this is what we've really got to track through the day. It's all going to come down to those temperatures if and when we get above 30 and if and when this precipitation winds down. Because I can tell you, as we're looking down to the southwest, this is trying to kind of regenerate, and there's a whole nother wave that's trying to come on up. Let me show you a different radar view. because this is the storyline and this is how it happens with winter weather. This is how you have to track it. Again, taking it minute by minute. You know, severe weather is different, fire weather is different, winter weather is different, the way you handle it. And this is the way you have to handle winter weather. And again, a lot of it comes down to your storm trackers as well, which we're about to talk to again, coming up here momentarily. Aaron Spencer, who is just north of downtown Oklahoma City. I'm looking at his video. In fact, there is his video, but we're going to talk to him again coming up here in just a second. But I want to take a look at this other radar view and just show you what we maybe have brewing down to the southwest. And again, if all this continues to really lift to the northeast through the day, and then also if, let me actually go and switch this over here, and then also if the temperatures hold and hover right around that 30-degree mark, again, that's something we've really got to track, again, as we go through the day as well. So kind of forgive me while I'm trying to punch this up, but this is what I'm trying to get to, is this right here, the overview. And so this is what we're seeing down here across southwestern Oklahoma. See how this is all kind of regenerating down here? And the same thing, pay no attention to the colors. It's still freezing down here. This is still freezing rain. The computer's doing the best job it can, but on a day like today, it's so razor close. We've got live data, and I can tell you with the live data, this is still freezing down here. But see, it's regenerating here. So this all may continue to lift north. And again, if we hover at that 30-degree mark, as we go through the morning into the early afternoon, this could be a significant glaze, so we don't want to be caught off guard by that. And that's why we got to track this so carefully, and that's what we're doing here. So let's go back to Aaron. He's still out just north of downtown Oklahoma City. You see his live feed there. And so Aaron, we're looking at your live video. Tell us again where you are now, and also give us a live update. That rain still looks moderately heavy to maybe even heavy now at times.
Yeah, that's correct, William. We're just about to cross over Hefner Road. We're right here at Frontier City, so we're kind of back where we started. But that rain really picked up, and it's been doing that while you've been giving your live update there in the studio. It hasn't backed down much at all, which I don't see it doing that anytime soon as it's coming through the Oklahoma City metro. Cars are slowing down, which is, again, the thing that everybody needs to be doing. Just trying to take your precautions. I mean, again, it kind of sounds weird for me to say winter precautions when it's raining and it doesn't seem like it's freezing, but like we've been saying all morning to you guys, it is freezing. You may not be able to tell, but it is freezing to certain surfaces. Like if you pull over and look at your antenna is more than likely going to be coated in a pretty good glaze of ice. So it's definitely freezing to the surfaces that have been below freezing for the past couple of days.
Aaron, are you getting any ice buildup? Aaron, I hate to interrupt you. Are you getting any ice buildup at all, like on your side view mirrors and things like that as you're kind of out and about there?
Yeah, we're getting just a little bit, not as much as we were like yesterday, but I've been kind of checking that every now and then. And we've been getting a little bit of a buildup, but it just, I think it's just kind of a little bit warmer than it was, so it's kind of being able to get melted off of the side view mirrors. So I mean, there's just maybe half an inch to maybe a little less than that of glaze on there, but again, it's not very much.
Okay, and that's the storyline we're going to be tracking as we go through the morning. So heavy rain coming in down here to Norman too. We're going to get back to Aaron and his video here in a second. Thunder, things are rocking and rolling down here in Norman with thunder, I can tell you that. But check this out. I mean, this is almost, these are thunderstorms regardless. But this is almost, we're talking about, like a late March, April kind of heavy thunderstorm type deal. Could still be a little bit of hail down here. This could even be a little bit of nickel-sized hail here south of Blanchard. I saw one report from somebody coming in saying they were getting a little bit of sleet. I think in that situation in Oklahoma County, you were probably getting some shot-sized hail because these have been hail producers as we've gone through the day. In fact, the activity that's now moving through the Oklahoma City metro, it was actually severe warned down across portions of North Texas earlier this morning. There was freezing rain with quarter-size hail, severe thunderstorm warning down there. It's now moving across the metro. You could call it sleet if you want, but I think it's probably shot-size hail that they were getting. These are thunderstorms, elevated thunderstorms here, and even south of Blanchard, you see that fairly heavy core there. Could even be a little bit of nickel-sized hail with that. That's tracking right up towards the Norman area. The other important thing, it is these live air temperature numbers, 29, 29, 30, 30, 30. So we got to get to 32 and above right now as we're at 30. This is all falling as freezing rain. So I've changed the radar here. We're just using normal radar mode. I'm not color coding anything at all. And the reason why I'm not color coding it with the normal winter colors is because I think we need to see the precipitation intensity where we're seeing these oranges, these darker oranges, and these hot reds. You see those hot reds down there south of Blanchard? See, that's important. You need to know that because this is locally heavy locally heavy freezing rain, and that's going to be tracking up towards Norman. We've already had a decent glaze build up over the last 2 days down here in Norman. So those are the little fine details that you got to track carefully. And then, of course, the other thing, you are hearing the thunder. Look at that pocket of cloud to ground lightning right out there on county line. That's going to be just east of Yukon, getting over here near Bethany. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cloud to ground strikes just in 2 minutes right there. Very electrically active right there. That's electrically charged. And of course, that's tracking towards downtown Oklahoma City as well. So this is elevated thunderstorm activity with the freezing rain potential coming on in. And again, it's really not a freezing rain potential. It is freezing rain. Again, temperatures are below 30. And down here in Norman, where we're really hearing the thunder, it's because of this cell south of Blanchard. And again, like I said, that's center line tracking up towards Norman. Again, could be even be a little bit of small hail with this one here as well. And, you know, I know it sounds weird when we're talking about freezing rain and lightning safety. You know, I would take it that we're in, you know, sub-freezing temperatures. There's not a lot of people just like out walking around, obviously, a little bit different than spring and summer. But it's worth noting lightning safety. These are very electrically active storms. These are cloud to ground strikes, not cloud to cloud. So we just want to kind of remind you of that as well. Again, as these are coming on through the metro. Again, we're hearing it down here in Norman. Aaron's also seen it as well, our storm tracker. And I want to go back to our storm tracker here because this is the other important part of it. You know, we're looking at radar, we're kind of analyzing it, taking it as it comes today. But again, this is the other real important piece. It's the storm tracker that's actually out on the roads and is able to show us what the roads look like. Travels the scourge in the Oklahoma City Metro. Oklahoma City Police no longer responding to non-injury accidents. Okay, got to keep that in mind. And again, travels the scourge, traveler's advisory in effect. And again, as we're looking at Aaron's video, looks like we're starting to get some stop and go traffic here. Aaron, let us know where you are. I don't know if you're still on 44 or exactly where you are, but it still looks like you've got some fairly moderately heavy rain in progress. Give us an update.
Yes, William. We're actually on I-35 northbound. We're here in Edmond, just right before 2nd Street. And we're still getting that heavy rain. You know, traffic has slowed down to about 50 miles an hour. At times about 45, so we're definitely watching that. And people also coming southbound, they're going at about the same speed we are, so that's definitely good. People are starting to slow down some, and it's starting to get a little bit slick out there, especially after we were getting off of 44. It was definitely starting to get a little slick on I-35, so definitely start paying attention to that, guys, because, you know, roads could become, you know, very slick. I mean, it was like a skating rink back over in Guthrie. So roads could turn like that very quickly, and, you know, a lot of accidents could happen as well with those treacherous road conditions. So just definitely be careful, and we'll be giving you live updates as we have them come in. William, back to you.
Aaron, are you getting any sleet at all? Have you noticed any sleet patterns on your windshield? And the reason why I'm asking that today, we keep getting a couple reports of sleet coming in here into the forecast center. And on a day like today, you can really call it whatever you want. You can call it sleet, but I think it's probably shot-size hail. These storms, again, they were producing hail down in North Texas. There was a severe thunderstorm warning down there. So I'm going to call it shot-size hail because these are elevated thunderstorms. Are you getting any sleet or any little pieces of hail at all? Have you noticed that at all?
No, we've just been getting the freezing rain so far. We had a little bit of sleet earlier today towards the El Reno area, but other than that, we haven't had anything near the sleet range.
Okay, got it. So let's go back to radar. We're going to check right back with Aaron here in a second. Aaron doing a phenomenal job, part of our team of storm trackers, one of the ones that's centrally located here in central Oklahoma. Of course, all, you know, homegrown Oklahomans, if you will, Oklahoma natives. And it's so important to have these storm trackers who are dedicated, who have the experience, who know what they're doing, who have done Oklahoma weather for quite a while, who can report it back to you and let you know what's going on. And again, really appreciate Aaron. You know, really over the last several days, our storm team has done a phenomenal job, especially with winter weather. It's a little bit different because it's no different for them. I mean, they have their chase vehicle, yes, but, you know, when they're getting out on these roads and dealing with people who, you know, maybe aren't driving slow and, you know, they're susceptible to all the other risks that you're taking as well if you're out on the roads. And, you know, they're doing that and they're doing a phenomenal job with that as well. So really appreciate them. There's Aaron's live GPS location. See the red dot? So that's where he is. We were just looking at his video, but in real time, that dot moves and shows us his exact location. So all this orange and this dark orange you're seeing, so that's all moderately heavy freezing rain. Big band there, moderately heavy freezing rain, live air temperatures 30, 30, and 30. Okay, anything below 32 is freezing. So we have 3 freezings, and this is all moderately heavy freezing rain. So you can see that right there. Now down here in Norman, we've now bumped to 31, and that's going to be the big question as we go through the late morning into the afternoon. It's these live air temperatures. Can we make it to 32, 33, and 34? Because there's some additional precipitation that's going to continue to move on up. Now, if we kind of flatline right around 30 and it kind of stays at 30 all really day through at least most of the afternoon, this could turn into a significant glaze across parts of central Oklahoma. So that's what we got to track. Now, if we're able to get to 31, 32, 33, 34 throughout the day, then it's a little bit of a different story. It turns into more of just a good old-fashioned cold rain. But we've got to track that carefully because, again, 1 degree difference makes all the difference in the world on a day like today. And we're going to be between 34 and 30. Where it's going to be exactly, we don't know yet. So we've got to track that. Right now, Oklahoma County's flatlining at 30. That hasn't moved at all. Hasn't moved all morning. We did bounce one down here in Norman now to 31. So we'll track that carefully. But also down here in Norman, notice this next band here that's coming on in. There's quite a bit of lightning still with this, especially over around the Blanchard area. So down here in Norman, we've heard quite a bit of thunder already. This is still freezing rain. It falls as liquid rain, but it freezes on contact. So elevated surfaces like power lines, bridges, also, like your side view mirrors on your car, those will get iced over quickly. And again, right now, temperature of 31 in Norman. You see that live. So again, here comes the next band in Norman moving in. Again, thunder, lightning with it as well. You're hearing it as it moves on in. And then like I said, also on the northern sides of the metro, up around Edmond, all the way back up through the Guthrie area, Cashin, Meridian, that's southern Logan County there. And again, you see that area of at least moderately heavy freezing rain as well. Another area there in far eastern Grady County, you see a little bit of pink showing up there as well. That's some downright heavy rain. Could be a little bit of hail. We've had some hail mixed in here with this activity. When this was down across portions of northwest Texas, there was actually a severe thunderstorm warning issued. Even though it was freezing rain, there was quarter-size hail with this. I think we're still getting a little bit of shot-size hail mixed in with this activity as well. Even here in Norman, this activity that tries to move in over the next 5 minutes or so, there could be a little bit of shot-size hail mixed in with that as well. Some folks may call it sleet. These are elevated thunderstorms, so I'm going to call it shot-size hail. I think that's exactly what it is as it moves on through. So that's the latest on radar there. What I want to do, I want to go back to our team of trackers. We're going to go back to Aaron Spencer. And again, on a day like today, this is what we have to do. We just kind of have to bounce back and forth with radar and again with live video. And again, talk to our trackers, see what they're seeing out there in the field. So again, there's not a lot of really fast changing weather conditions like on a severe weather day where things are changing just like that. That's a little bit different on days like today. So we'll see. Aaron may be making a pit stop here. Not sure if he is or not. But Aaron, if you're on the live line with us, let us know if you have to make a pit stop. I know you've been going for quite a while, or if you're just trying to set up and get a shot there of the interstate. I think you're probably just trying to get a shot there. But give us an update. Tell us exactly where you are now and give us a live update.
Yes, William. Yeah, we're going to be making a pit stop here in just a second after we give you this live update. But we're looking right here at I-35 still, as you guys can see it in the shot. Traffic's still moving pretty smooth. I haven't seen any traffic backups as we've come all the way from El Reno back to Oklahoma City and now back into Edmond. The overpasses here in Edmond are a little more slick than the ones like down over in Oklahoma City or even El Reno. I'm guessing just because kind of the temperature change, so that might be kind of the situation there. The roads really aren't slick here as well. They're just kind of wet, and there's also some localized flooding on the interstates that we saw as we were coming back from Oklahoma City. So it's just, all the rain that has been dumped within, the past, the short time that we've had it, we're getting a lot of rain, which of course we do need, but, we just need these temperatures to also rise so it doesn't freeze, so we don't have more traffic situations. So going back to you.
Okay, Aaron, really appreciate that update there. Let's go back to radar here. And we'll check back in with Aaron. I think they're going to make a quick pit stop there. They've been out essentially all morning, so they probably need a little bit of a break there. But I want to go back to radar, and I want to take a look at the overview. Actually, I want to take a look at a different radar source here, and we're going to take a look at the overview. And we're going to take a look at a couple different things, because here's the important question as we go through what's left of the morning into the early afternoon. And this essentially is going to be the million-dollar question for us today is, can we get above freezing? And if we do get above freezing, where does that happen and when does that happen? And the reason why that question is important is because as we're looking at radar here, you can see kind of this moisture plume. Again, this is wave number 3 of active wintry precipitation, day number 3 that we've been dealing with it and tracking it live here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. But you can see what we currently have moving through. Moderately heavy freezing rain now here in central Oklahoma, but you can also see it still extends back into portions of southwestern Oklahoma. So this is still a couple hours of active precipitation. It'll vary. It may, kind of slow down a little bit, that it might pick back up. It's not going to be constant 3 hours of heavy freezing rain, but there's going to be that opportunity for some locally heavy precipitation as we go over the next several hours. Now, can we get above 32? Can we get to 33, 34 as we head into the afternoon? And then this is all just a cold liquid rain with no real freezing potential. So that's going to be the big question. Some of the data is showing we do, some of the data is showing we don't. And the reason why that's so important is because, of course, as this activity continues to expand and kind of regenerate back to our southwest, that's going to determine how much of a freezing glaze we get today. And of course, that's going to be important as we go through the day. Now, these are live air temperature numbers here. And this is off the Mesonet. These update once every 5 minutes. So we're not showing you stuff that like updates once every hour or anything like that. This is once every 5 minutes. These are truly live numbers. You can say these are truly live numbers here. So 29 to 30. So this is all still freezing down here. So even though you saw the computer trying to paint some of this with no freezing potential back to just normal radar colors, that's not the case. This is all still freezing rain down in here. And again, even here in the metro, 29 to 30, it's all still freezing here. So again, this is the freezing line. This pink squiggly line you see right there, everything on the south or east side of it is above freezing, and anything behind it on the west or north side, this is all below freezing here. So we need this little pink line, you see it right there, we need that to continue to back up towards the Oklahoma City metro. Now, Pauls Valley is currently at 32. You start getting to 32, things get better. You get to 33, obviously 34, you're completely above freezing. 32, you're just kind of right there at the cusp. So we need this to continue to kind of back up into the Oklahoma City metro. Now, will that happen? A lot of times when you do get active precipitation falling, sometimes the temperatures will flatline and they don't really move a whole lot at all. So as that next wave kind of comes on out and moves on through the day, we'll see if it just flatlines and we're stuck at 30. And again, that would be concerning for a more significant glaze. Or again, are we able to bounce up a couple degrees? So these are literally the things we're looking at here in the forecast center, again, as we go through the day today. And of course, with our live team of trackers out in the field as well, they're just making a quick pit stop. We're going to talk to them again, coming up here in just a second. Aaron Spencer, let me go and kind of zoom this out as well and go and take a look at the overview. Now, this specific radar source here, I've taken off all the winter coloring. So this is just a normal radar mode here. It's not coloring in where it thinks there's wintry precipitation at all. But I've also plotted the live air temperature numbers here as well. And down here in Norman, we're 31. Grady County, we're 31. Down here around Garvin County, down around Pauls Valley, 32. So it's really this 32 line right here that, again, is going to have to back up. But again, you see what's currently coming through the metro here. And then as we kind of use the composite radar that we used a second ago, you can also see there's more activity that continues to regenerate down here. So bottom line, to make a long story short, if we stay at 30 as we go through the afternoon, we keep regenerating precipitation, it keeps moving on through, there could be some significant glazing in the metro. So that is important. That's what we have to track. If we get to 32, 33, 34, we may just get a good old-fashioned cold rain this afternoon, one that we need here in central Oklahoma. So that would be best case. It could go either way. Again, we're talking about 2 or 3 degrees difference. When you're talking about that, it can seesaw either way. And so we're not completely sure on that yet. So fingers crossed we will get above freezing. Now, again, we are going to check in with our team of trackers. I know that's what most of you folks want to see, is the actual live video of what's going on. Again, Aaron Spencer, our storm tracker right here in central Oklahoma, he's just momentarily taking a quick break. They've been going all day, so they're just at a gas station real quick, taking a super quick break. They'll be right back with us here momentarily. And of course, as soon as they are, we'll get right back to their video again, what's going on around central Oklahoma. Of course, really important information there as well. What we can do also is let's go and take a look at our downtown OKC live cam. We're going to take a look at a couple of our live sources here as well while we're kind of waiting on them. We'll go and switch this back around. But that's our downtown Oklahoma City live cam. And again, you can see the active precipitation there in progress, freezing rain in progress there. Again, you can also see that freezing rain and the fog that's showing up there as well. You can see the fog in the distance there. You can't really see the skyline at all. This would normally be the skyscrapers back there in the distance. This would be the Devon Tower right back over in here. You can't see that at all. Again, low clouds, low visibility, and again, freezing rain and fog in progress here in central Oklahoma. And by the way, thunder and lightning in progress here in central Oklahoma as well, as these are elevated thunderstorms moving through, again, producing that freezing rain. Let's also go take a look at that. We'll take a look at the lightning tracker here as well. And then, like I said, Aaron Spencer, our storm tracker, we'll be checking back in with him momentarily. That red dot, that's his live GPS location. That's where he is. Again, just taking a quick pit stop. And so as we're taking a look at lightning, let me go and pause the animation here real quick, because the other piece of this puzzle as we've gone through the morning, it has been the thunder and the lightning, and even a little bit of hail that we've had as we've gone through the morning as well. And you may have heard me say this a couple times, but for those of you just now joining us on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, and of course, we appreciate you folks joining us if you're watching in Oklahoma or, of course, across the rest of the country and around the world. Obviously, our coverage here, talking about the wintry weather, it is for our friends and fellow Oklahomans. But again, for those of you joining us from outside of Oklahoma, we appreciate you tuning in this morning as well. But the other story we've been tracking here, it has been the opportunity for some lightning. And at one point in time, these, again, we'll call these thunderstorms that have moved through, were fairly electrically active, producing lightning and freezing rain. Now, just over the last 2 minutes, as we're sampling this here, it looks like there's not a lot of lightning showing up. In fact, the only lightning strike I'm seeing is down there in Grady County. But there for a while, as this activity was moving through the metro, we had 6, 7, 8 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. Even down here in Norman, as that activity was moving through Norman, things were rocking and rolling here at the studio. We had several claps of thunder, again, as this was moving through. So, of course, that's catching some folks off guard when we're talking about freezing rain. During winter months, we're normally not talking about thunder and lightning, but, well, that was the case with this activity. And again, like I mentioned, this was also producing some severe hail down across portions of North Texas. There was actually a severe thunderstorm warning with this batch of activity that just now moved through the metro across North Texas with quarter-size hail. That was earlier this morning. We did have a little bit of nickel-size hail down around the Lawton area. That was about an hour ago. Right now, I think most of that hail threat is kind of winding down, even though down here in Grady County, a couple of these still look a little bit tough. Maybe a little bit of small shot-size hail possible there. And again, you're starting to see just a little bit more in the way of lightning. That's primarily down there around Chickasha now. Here in the Oklahoma City metro, again, not necessarily picking up on the lightning that we were tracking, again, just a little bit earlier this morning. So with that being said, let's see, do we have Aaron Spencer back on the live line?
We're here with you now.
Okay, Aaron, so you're back with us, and we've just kind of been burning a little bit of time while we were waiting on you. I know you had to make that pit stop. You guys have been doing such a great job today, again, out in the elements, kind of battling everything out all around the metro. But kind of give us an update. I think you're actually back moving again there, so we've got your shot up. But tell us where you are now and give us a live update. Of course, this is the important piece. We've been looking at radar and kind of analyzing things from the studio. But of course, with winter weather, the thing you really have to do, you have to see what's really going on out there and match it up with radar. And that's what our team of storm trackers do. So they're out there in it. And I believe you're on the northern sides of the metro. But tell us where you are now and give us a live update.
Yeah, we are on the northern sides of the metro, still in Edmond. We're actually just sitting at the Circle K. We're watching both lanes of I-35. The traffic conditions still look about the same from whenever we gave you that report just a little bit ago. Traffic's moving smooth. I haven't seen any wrecks or anybody kind of slide around, which is a good thing, which means nothing's really freezing to the roads right at this moment. Rain is starting to slow down here just a little bit. The visibility is a lot better than what it was when we were traveling down the interstate. So that's definitely also something good. That way people can see the other motorists in front of them and also behind them. And also keep that distance, like we were saying yesterday, keep that distance in between you and the person in front of you, because if, they have to brake really quick and you're right behind them, you're not going to have enough time to slow down and get out of the way. So that could, put you in harm's way and also in the accident if they get in one. So just definitely keep that distance and be safe out there. And we'll definitely be letting you guys know if the road conditions start to become slick. William, back to you.
Hey, Aaron, also let us know about the volume of traffic. I know earlier said that there was, volume, the traffic volume was down a little bit. Obviously, a lot of folks kind of heeding the precautions and not really getting out. But you said on the major interstates, there actually was kind of a bit of traffic earlier this morning. What is the traffic volume like now as this next round of freezing rain has moved in? Are you seeing still a lot of folks out on the roads, or are folks staying off of them? Update us on that as well.
Yeah, I've seen a downgrade in the volume of people on the roads. There's not quite as many as there was around like I-40 and I-44, which is again good, because that means less potential for any traffic accidents, which, like you were saying, the police were, telling people, hey, we're not going to be responding to non-emergency accidents because, that could put their lives at risk as well as, other people getting in an accident. So if you guys do get involved in an accident and it is non-injury, your best bet is to get, transfer information from each other and then, try to get off the roads as best as possible because, again, I took a little bit of traffic management back when I was at the fire department, and they said, if you can safely get off the road, then, let the other person know, hey, let's get off the road, and then you can exchange your information so that way you don't cause another accident like on the interstates or even any of the side roads.
Great advice there, Aaron. And I mean, what he's talking about is Oklahoma City Police, the last report we had from them, they're no longer responding to non-injury accidents. So that's in Oklahoma City specifically, no longer responding to non-injury incidents. That's what the OKC PD is saying, at least right now. That may change throughout the day as this precipitation tries to wind down. Great report, Aaron. We're going to check back in with you here in just a second. But what we need to do now is kind of take a look at radar and also take a look at temperatures here. This is the important stuff now as we're starting to get a little bit closer to afternoon. Also coming up here in just about 45 minutes or so, Oklahoma Weather Live at noon. We're going to take a complete look at your forecast. What can you expect for tonight into tomorrow? There's more rain. I think we'll just have a good old-fashioned rain tomorrow. That's on the way. We're going to talk about that. Also your weekend forecast. Again, that's just about 45, 48 minutes away from right now. And again, as we're looking at Mesoscan radar, again, the thing we've been tracking today, it has been this freezing rain, this wave number 3 of wintry precipitation that's been moving through the Oklahoma City metro. We've had a little bit of thunder, a little bit of lightning with this, a little bit of small hail as it's been moving through as well, and quite a bit of locally heavy freezing rain. Now, of course, the thing we're tracking carefully here, it is the temperatures with this as well. And what I've loaded here, really 2 different things. So I've taken all the wintry coloring off the radar. So we're not getting like the purples and the red where the computer's trying to tell us what it thinks the precipitation is. I've just loaded regular precipitation here, but I've also loaded live air temperatures based off the Oklahoma Mesonet, updating every 5 minutes, not like once every hour, but every 5 minutes, important stuff. So we're at 31 here in Norman. We're basically from 30 in Oklahoma County up through Logan County rather. And this is the important thing. So as this precipitation continues to move through, the million-dollar question today is, can we get above freezing? Can we get to 32, 33, 34 as we go through the day? Because this is kind of the main wave that's moving through. But there's still going to be some scattered lighter activity that comes through today. And again, if we just kind of flatline at that 30-degree temperature, there is an opportunity for more significant glazing. And as we're piecing together the forecast today, that's what I'm really watching. That's what I really have my eyes on, is that temperature trend, as we go through the morning and the early afternoon. And right now, temperature is essentially flatlining here in central Oklahoma. We're close to freezing, but again, we're just not there. And as we look around, you have to get all the way over to Seminole County to find a 32. So essentially everything from Seminole County back here to the north is essentially 30 to 31 to 29. So this is all still freezing. And again, that's going to be the general trend that we're going to have to watch as we go through the day today. Let's go and take a look at a different radar source, kind of an overview. Then we'll get back to Aaron's live video as well. And of course, keep in mind on days like today when we're talking about wintry weather, this is what we do. We basically kind of take it as it comes. And again, we're just kind of hanging out with you today live on the air, showing you radar and also checking in again with our storm trackers as well, and showing you what they're seeing out there. Quickly here, these are actual temperatures plotted a little bit differently. Again, still live numbers, but this kind of gives you a better idea of, kind of color coded here where the freezing temperatures are. And again, you can see really across most of Oklahoma, it's 29, 30, 31. So this is what I'm talking about. 29, 30, 31, 30, 31, still all well below freezing. There's the freezing line over here in far eastern Oklahoma, getting a fairly decent rumble of thunder here in Norman. So it's still kind of rocking and rolling with some of this down here in Norman. Here in Norman, it is 31, so still below freezing. So again, still receiving that freezing rain. But again, these live temperatures here, this will be important. Hopefully this little pink line, this freezing line, will continue to kind of move back to the north as we go through the day today, and we'll be able to get above freezing. So any precip we see will just be a good old-fashioned cold rain. But again, at least right now, that is not the case. And as we kind of take a different radar perspective here, again, before we talk back with our team of trackers, a different radar perspective here, kind of the state view. And this is also the composite imagery as well. So this takes all the different radar sites and puts them together. And so the one thing we were missing on the other radar view is that kind of what's starting to develop down across portions of southwestern Oklahoma. You see additional activity developing down there. And so this is all kind of a moisture train lifting to the north. And again, that's why it's going to be important as we get into the early afternoon to see where we're going to be at as far as the temperatures go. Because again, if we stay at 30, I think this is the main wave that's moving through now, but there's still going to kind of be this lingering scattered activity that may continue to move on through, and that will continue to cause issues and will continue to cause glazing as we go through the day. So again, that's the real storyline that we're tracking here in the forecast center. And again, by the way, for our friends in far southern southeastern Oklahoma, where we've had issues with some flooding and flash flooding, especially down in McCurtain County, locally heavy rain moving back in down there. Maybe another flash flood warning will have to be issued for McCurtain County down around Lake Broken Bow as we go through the day down there. They've had 4 or 5 inches of rain over the last 2 days or so. So let's go back to, let's go back to Aaron Spencer's live shot. And again, this is kind of what's going on in the metro. And I think he's just kind of parked up now on the northern sides of the metro. He's kind of got his eyes on everything up there. And Aaron, you know, the one thing we're not picking up on here in the forecast center, and knock on wood, this is the good part, we're not getting a lot of reports of accidents around the metro. I think a lot of folks are staying off the roads, but there's definitely folks still out there for sure. But we're not getting a lot of reports right now of accidents. Of course, Oklahoma City Police saying they're not responding to any non-injury accidents at this point. But at least just off the wire here, not a lot of reports of accidents. What are you picking up on that? And again, as you've been out, really, as we've gone through almost the entire morning now, I don't think you've actually seen any accidents. Is that right? And of course, that would be good.
Yes, that's correct, William. I have only actually seen maybe 3 different police, 2 troopers, and then also 1 Edmond City police officer. But, you know, I have not seen a single emergency vehicle responding to anything so far, and I also haven't heard of any wrecks as well. So that's definitely a good thing compared to yesterday, because we knew that there was quite a few wrecks as well as the day before that. So I'm really happy to see that, you know, people are finally kind of slowing down and listening to the, you know, different weather organizations as well as us. You know, we're kind of just, you know, like you said, we sound like a broken record, but, you know, we're just trying to make sure that people are staying safe and on the roads as well as keeping other people safe. So, yeah, no emergency vehicles have passed me responding to anything so far, which hopefully we can keep it that way, because, you know, that'll be a great relief on them as well as a great relief on everybody on the interstates and also highways. William, back to you.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And I mean, that is absolutely 100% great if that's hopefully the way it stays, you know, again, really as we go through the morning as well. And, you know, so one of the things, like I mentioned, of course, we're going to take a complete look at your forecast coming up today at noon, Oklahoma Weather Live at noon. That's our normal daily forecast show. Of course, we do those at 9, noon, 4 p.m. and at 7 p.m. Essentially Monday through Friday with weekend cast on the weekend. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a little bit of a break. We've been on essentially all morning. I want to look over the very newest data that just came into the forecast center, get a better feel of the forecast going forward as we go through the day today. We may have another update before then, but if not, of course, definitely be sure to join us back here live at noon for Oklahoma Weather Live at noon, a complete special update. Again, checking back in with our team of trackers at that point in time as well. Otherwise, keep it here with Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. We'll keep you up to date with the latest live weather information for Oklahoma.